4 seconds.
Perfect.
4 seconds. Me and Dave haven't. We were
Hopefully
all excited. Sorry, you guys missed it.
Oh, they don't worry, Papa Tony. They got a little bit. They're over here. They're over here biting, going, what are you doing? I'm over there. I can't hear nothing, see nothing.
Oh,
So you're gonna have to show them what we're looking at. So we're gonna do our Papa Tony's garage door service. So we're gonna be over there. So check it out.
oh, I didn't know you were still on.
Yeah, I had to leave in case there was any excitement or something. You know, like I got a recording of it.
I have to take I have to take my sweatshirt off. I got all excited. Yeah. I'm sitting out front, so if any cars
That's
by,
good. It's
I was gonna do this in the garage, but I don't want to wake the wife. She has to go to work in the morning early. All right, so you cut out there, Dave. I couldn't hear you. All right, let's see here. You guys all know these. We'll talk about these little gel connectors. I think where is it? You buy them at Lowe's, Dave?
I get them at
They're
Lowe's.
clear. Oh, where'd my wire go? Oh, shoot. Got all excited.
I mean, just a hair bigger. So I use the orange ones too from Lowe's.
Well, you take this is your photocell wire, the black and white, and try to stick that in that hole. Man, ooh, that went in pretty good, but you guys can't see it. Sorry. I can't get it in all the way there. Some of us have that problem. Whoa, cool. Let me see, where's the camera? But here we have the same style, but they're a little more frosted. What? Where's the camera? There it is. Bam. Look at that. Slides right in. That is so here look. Wires still together. Your photocell wire, you come up, rip that up, straighten it up, and you're like, I'm fighting it. Oh no, it goes right in. Bam. That is so nice. 3M.
That is,
Man. They're gel. Just like the clear ones you buy at Lowe's are a pain in the butt. We used to get these that big C word. Been looking for them ever since. Finally found them.
wow.
3M sells them. They're amazing. I mean, you can do it so quick in the dark.
That is really cool.
Yeah, I'm so excited about them. That's what they were.
I'm so glad you brought them up. I really am.
Here, if you guys could do a snapshot, there's the box.
Dang. Does it? You should tell us too. Does it have a certain part number or anything? Is it a certain model or anything?
Well, there was 100 in here. They're a UR2. That's all.
Okay.
Go by.
Okay.
This
UR2.
What is Scott-Lock? I can't read backwards.
Right. No, yeah, you're good.
But
UR2.
I think this was what you would need right here. And they're a little gel. They're frosted. They're not the clear. But boy, I'm so excited. Look at that. I got boxes.
Gosh.
Boxes of them. You don't know how excited I am. This thing,
Dude.
these took minutes, you know. We're
Yep.
going to take you fractions of a second.
Heck yeah.
I mean, don't seem like much, but man, when you're down there and it's 16 below and
Oh. Exactly. Exactly.
yeah,
And the thing is what's beautiful about it too is it really helps idiot proof it is what I always call it.
oh,
You know what I mean? Just it just stick it in, and like you said, if you have Jeff, or I've had the same thing. I've had workers, and it's like now I kind of got to go behind them because, and
yeah,
I've done it myself too, where I've stripped them and then
right,
crimp them, and I'm like, I know this isn't really what it's supposed to do, but do I do that, or do I wire nut it? And I've had wire nuts where guys get zealous on them, or whatever, and they snap the wire. Well,
yeah.
it works while they're there, but all it takes is some wind or a dog or vibrations, and then now you got a service call coming back, and you're like, what the heck,
Mm. Well, it got to the point where we using these clear ones. I can still get them in there. You know, I take my time.
Yeah,
F was struggling, man, and you know, I thought, heck, we're just gonna. I just went and bought the little gray wire nuts.
yeah,
You know, because I know he could do that just fine.
right,
You know,
right,
but I really like these gel
yeah,
better. They
oh
seem to
yeah,
keep that moisture out. And,
yep.
yeah, just seem to
And
be.
did you ever try the orange ones from Lowe's too? There's the two connector ones.
No, I never did.
So I swear those ones are just, I mean, a fuzz, maybe just a hair bigger. I've had, and I've had the wire won't go in those red ones. I've used the orange ones, but it ain't like, it's not like what you just showed where you're still sitting there kind of,
It
you know,
yeah, this. I mean, this is quick. I mean, these were nice. I'm so glad I found them again. I mean, seriously, it's just there. It's sitting on there.
oh my gosh, dude, that goes in way too easy.
That's just bam. There's the other hole.
That's so nice.
Other hole. There's.
Wow, that's
I'm
so
fine
nice.
tapping all the way out. You know, so
Wow.
they're not
Is it got is it two crimps in there? Like, what I mean?
three.
Like, does
Yes,
it, does it, okay. Okay, yep, yep. Okay.
two shrimp
Yep.
hole. I like the three hole.
Right. Oh yeah. You
You
get
know,
options.
when they droop that wire over the other
Yeah.
foot, you got two at the one.
Yep. Yep.
You need it. Those the two that come with the photocells, the really nice little two one, you know, two yellow
Yeah.
that come with the photocells when you buy them from LiftMaster or wherever.
Right.
Talking about
Yep.
they're when they only got two, that you really can't use it. You know,
Right.
have the three wire or two wires coming out of the one side.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm sitting here playing with this. I
What
love
a
it.
great find. I know I mean, man, it's just like I said, I know what I'm doing tonight. I'm gonna be sending the wife a link.
Yeah, we used to get them. We used to get them in a tub, you know,
Ah,
like that big, and I
sure.
taking them and pouring them into my little cubby. You know,
Yeah.
way I'd go. Well, now they came. I think I bought 500, and I got 100 bucks in a box,
Okay.
which is totally fine. I don't care. You know,
Right.
these I think were. Don't quote me on it, but I'm going to say about what $5 to $7 for 25
Sure. Yep.
at Lowe's or wherever.
Yeah.
These weren't even. Yeah, I mean, I think I paid 20 for 100 or something.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
it was a great deal.
Right.
Great, just the time saving. That's
Oh, just the peace of mind. You
they're
know.
all the way in every time.
Yeah, I mean, it just eliminates. I mean, you know how it goes. Especially when it's. I mean, I just people don't understand, man. It's so different when you have employees. You know what I mean? You know, you can get through anything. I can get through anything, but other people sometimes they don't have either the experience or the knowledge or and they can struggle, and unfortunately, you know,
Correct.
it's your name on the line. You know
I
what I mean?
Hey, by the way, since you brought that up, you look really good in that shirt.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's a special night, so I thought
Aren't
I better bring it out.
aren't they a comfy shirt?
Heck yeah, they're really nice.
Yeah, I
You
love.
wouldn't believe how many times I go to do something and I'm thinking, I'm gonna wear that shirt. And I go, oh, I really probably shouldn't because the customer's gonna get a little, so who are you? Or I'm doing something and they're gonna be like, or if I go out in public or something too, right? I've like people coming up to me. So you're working for another garage? Yeah, that's it. Look at the number or whatever.
Yeah,
Right. You know,
yeah,
but no, I definitely get some made. These are nice. I mean, nice fabric, everything really comfortable.
yeah. They're what is that called? Dry fit.
I can't remember on the back.
When you take your bicycle out and run that trail, wear
Yeah.
that. They're super nice. You start sweating, it cools.
Ah.
They're nice.
Yeah, ever since you went out to that trail, I've been exploring it, and wow, it is. I never realized that trail was that
I,
nice.
that's nice too. I'm glad we went up there. Yeah, me and the wife, every summer. She's from Michigan,
Right.
so we take a trip up and then we bike around. We
Right.
pick an area and then we go bike it along the water, of course,
Right. Right.
water. But we had never been that far up Holland. We had made it to, and I thought, heck, you needed a T-shirt.
Right. Right. Desperate.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Favorite color, huh? So I think Chip on here. What did he say it was? So how much per 100? He says give or take. So what did it cost for the box? Do you remember just for that box? And you said how many was in the box?
No. 100. There's 100 in the box. I bought 500.
Okay.
When I found them, I really didn't care what they cost.
I get that. I
I
know.
it, when I when
Yeah.
frosted, because I use these all the time, and I couldn't find for years. I couldn't find them. And, this. I'm sorry, but this is going to be a time saver. Now I'm going to guess $20.
Right.
I think it
Oh,
was. It was Yeah, it was under. It's under 20 because
okay.
$84 for 500.
Oh, okay.
I want to
Okay.
say under $100. I can't. Really can't remember.
Yep. Oh,
I
I
was.
get it. You
I was.
find them, you grab them.
Yeah. I just bought them, and yeah. Just remember 3M. You'll be able to find them.
Yep.
Don't buy the clear. Buy the frosted.
I'm getting me some, man. I didn't know there was anything that ever existed beyond that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
These
I know Rich B was talking about like I've used those. What do they call the Wagos? He's talking about push locks.
are they the little blocks?
I think so, but I think they're called Wagos, and you just push in and they lock. They won't. You can't ever get them back out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the problem for me was always I never found one that's the right, for the right warrior. I know they got them, but they always seem kind of heavy,
Mm-hmm.
And I always like when you squeeze those ones and the gel, just gives you that like
A little bit. Yep.
yep. And then for us too, because we deal with like gate operators and stuff,
Yep.
or if you're in a commercial or you're in a car wash, it's you just got that little bit of peace of mind that hey, a little bit of goops on it to give it an extra couple more years.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, how many times have you went to a photocell job and they had the wire nuts and you've taken the wire nut off and just seen all the green?
Yeah, oh yeah,
I
yeah,
I tell my people cut that off, check the wire, and then use it. If you're a good
yeah,
cop, because it goes back. It won't be green, but it'll be dark.
yeah,
Or back.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I've
I
seen there's a lot of situations with those photo eyes, and those are you
especially
know
your area, man. You
oh yeah,
get the snow heavy with all
yep,
right on the water.
yep.
That's, oh
I mean,
man.
I've seen wire nuts. You know how it is, like the plastic's gone, but the metal part's still there.
Oh,
I've seen them electrical taped. People just glob some electrical tape around them.
oh yeah.
It just, I just believe you can't beat the gel connectors. That's the best I found. I had somebody, really dispute me on it. Oh no, the wire nuts are the way, and I'm like, hey man, that's fine, but I'm just telling you, it's pretty much bulletproof if you use the gel connectors.
I've
And
I've never myself. I've never went to one, because I always cut them off. But I look at them, and I've never noticed them green up there on that the thing.
Yeah.
Then I've never noticed them green.
No.
How many times I've turned the wire nut off and been like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
still working, but it's green.
Yep.
Eventually, it's going to cause problems."
Yeah, and even with the wire nuts, I always try to make sure they're even those other ones. I still do it too a little bit, but I try to make sure they're tipping up. You know what I mean? Like wherever they're, I'll do my wire, with some staples, and I'll make sure they're tipping up. So hopefully, if
Yep.
because people do weird things, man. I'm one of them. I'm one of them. I've been in my own garage, power washing something, and I'm sitting there going, "Oh, geez," and or you're, you know what I mean? Just all
Yeah.
kinds of weird things, garbage cans, you name it, man.
Yeah.
Kids sitting there down on the ground eating the damn thing. You're like, "What are you doing?" And it's like, don't be doing that. I mean, just a dog walks past peeing on something. Oh, that's how photo I short out. It seems like you see it all. Especially when you're in the business.
Yeah. True.
Let's see here. I might have missed Tony. Oh, so Rich was saying too. Do you use special players? I always use vice
Oh,
grips.
yeah, I do have. I mean, for years I always used just a pair of pliers
Yeah.
at Menards. At Menards, you can buy a kit. They come with a pair of pliers. I have a pair, but it'd take me a minute to walk back there and get them.
You
They're
actually got some?
they're yellow and black. They will strip the wire.
Oh,
They and then they have like this little kind of covers the cap, a little rounded spot on top and bottom, and you just put it at that spot, boom. Or you could just use a regular pair of pliers. But I like the tool. I like having the right tool for the job.
I didn't even know those existed.
Yep. Menard, you can get a whole. Menard's got gone everything.
I know. I know.
And there'll be like, man, I don't even know what that is, but that's pretty cool.
It's like when you had me walking around for that tester. I think Rich B actually helped
Yeah.
finally get me to what aisle or what to ask for. For that tester. Still got my little electrical kit I just put together.
I told a electrician. He says, "Oh my gosh!" When I showed him that, he was like, "Oh." Used to a wire and he'd plug it in and then drape it all the way through, and that's how he'd go and find. And that tool,
Yep.
gosh, man. I
Yep.
said, yeah, Menards bucks. You're kidding me. Yeah. If you don't know.
I know. That's it too. That's it. And I mean, like, I probably next time when I go there, I'll probably look for that. I'll get that
They're there,
tool because
yellow and black handle. They're only about yay big.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
not real, but they are nice because it gets right on there, and you can like a pair of pliers.
You
Some
can.
there's something with the pair. Oh well, I think I always use needle nose. I'm a big needle nose guy.
Oh,
Cutter, I strip my wire with needle nose. I don't use normally. Before I found those at Menards, I was
right.
because needle nose I can get in there and get the little cotter pin clips off, what have you, and then
Sure.
I have one with the wire stripper, and I'd use it as a wire stripper.
Okay. Okay. Makes
So
sense.
I always use that, but I could never get on the top, and I'd have to crimp it twice.
Twice. Right.
Where
Right.
you just put it on there.
Yeah. That's why I always like the vice grips. I have, you got but you got to be smart about it. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
no.
And, you can just smash them and break them too.
Hmm.
So you got to feel them. And that's where like having that tool. And if you're working with somebody or you got an employee and you're just, here you go,
Right.
just
Boom.
right,
Yeah.
right, go to town, man.
Yeah.
I'm always looking for, I always like even for myself, I'm never trying to make fun of anybody, because I consider myself an idiot too sometimes because I don't know everything, but I try to idiot proof everything. You know what I mean? If I can make it easier, let's
Yep.
do it. Speed
For,
is key, and efficiency.
for sure. Yep. I do stupid stuff. Look at this. She even likes Tony's.
Oh, hey, you got a little friend. That's awesome.
That's Mama. That's Mama.
Yeah. Oh
She's
yeah, she's
She went from a stray, a wildcat, to my best friend.
No way. That's cool.
Yeah, I got picked up her last year. I had the heat on in the garage, and she always slides in our garage and at me. Now she'll sit on my lap and pet me. You know, I can pet her and what have you.
Nice.
Yeah, but outside she acts like she's a wildcat again. But in the garage, she's cool with me.
No way. That's
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There's a few wildcats around here.
Yep.
To ruin that rep.
Right. Right.
You can't say, "Hey, I'm a domestic cat now."
That's funny.
You know.
Sounds like Kevin was saying with those. Seen a guy squeeze them too hard and actually cut the wires in half.
Yeah, that's why you want to get that tool. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's what they're okay. Yep, I see what you're saying.
And
Yeah, that is true.
speaking of Kevin, you and Rich B next year
Uh-huh.
need to go to that car show.
Pretty nice.
Oh my lord. I have never in my life seen so many cars.
Really?
I mean, nice cars.
Right.
Talking. And then it not only was it a cool car show, it was in a beautiful setting.
Ah.
Your wife would enjoy it, your kids would enjoy it.
What was do they have any reason why they did like on a Thursday? Is there any just trying to keep out some of the crazy people or
I
what? Just
wanted to ask that, but I think it's just it's like a cruise in that like grew from a few cars coming in to hundreds.
sure.
And I mean, you see all kinds of cars. It was amazing. Really, it's pretty cool.
That's
I've
awesome.
never in my life seen that many cars in one spot. So next year you got to go.
Sounds like it. I've seen some pictures. That was really nice.
Oh yeah, it was amazing.
We're trying to see what Evan's got here. He says, I've seen photo cells where the leads have gone dead, but they still function properly. Huh. I don't really know. I've seen them corrode down the wire where you touch the wire, it's like just the rubber's left.
Mm.
They gone pretty bad. The good dielectric grease. Dielectric grease can do quite a bit of good things. And I've done that to wire nuts too. Have you ever done that, Tony? Where you squeeze it in there, get some in the wire nut, and then you wire nut your.
Never.
No,
Didn't.
I've done it just to try to help because that's all I had or something.
Yeah, I'm not an electrician.
Right, right.
I was a factory worker before I was a garage door guy.
Right.
And robotics.
Oh yeah.
Really didn't, I mean, I did siding and stuff, on the side. I'm a more of a builder type guy than
Right.
door electrical, now, the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So I know nothing electrical.
Right. That Rusty's guy, he's got team
I,
white tape.
I doing work for an engineer.
Oh.
You're working on an opener and, they can tell you more about it than you.
Right. Silicone lube. What's Steven's got? I used was it Down Corning DC-4 silicone lube wire nuts for corrosion resistance.
Nice.
I wonder if Steven though would he consider using this? I mean, like I said, some people are just totally against. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's just like a mindset they think it's gonna, it's cutting the wire. I could never find a con. You know, what I mean, I just because
Well,
I've just had it where people over tighten those wire nuts, and I've done it even myself where you think it's good
they're
and
thin.
it's not.
Yeah, they're real thin.
Yeah,
For me, it's time. It's time. They're quick. Uh,
yeah,
am I the most organized person? Hell no. Am I tube of grease always in the spot it needs to be? Not Tony. Not me.
right,
I mean,
right.
that guy that I'll set it here and then I'll go over here and be like, where? Well, it's already in. It's quick. I'm telling you. You've seen how quick they slide in. Boom, snap it. You're
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
it. I'm so excited. Showed Jeff even.
Heck yeah. Rusty and Evans Rusty's got the white tape, and then Evans he's got the black tape.
I'm not a
So
big tape guy. I'm not a fan.
no, I can't say. I mean, I've done it probably once or twice when I was just totally out of ammunition type thing.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Because you don't
But
want air for sure.
right,
They're all moisture.
Burke's guy, he's got is it Ducky tape? uh,
I wonder if that caused any air interference. Isn't that like oil or?
right. Rich has got 3M super tape. Whoa, I think he might win the trophy here. That's good. Ducky says, which color, Rich? He says, we got a tie. Oh, correct. Was Rusty correct, Evan? Tell him white is way because it blends in better. Ooh, that is true. The white does it might blend in better.
I don't know. You put this on, and you have this sitting there. To me, that looks more professional than tape.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
My opinion.
I'm kind of weird about it too because what I do is I actually make like a little loop so it's hanging up. So it's almost like the guy can tip it out and he can cut it and redo it one more time if he needed to. I kind of make it like
Yeah.
plus I try to make it so like water doesn't get down in there. So I always have them, I'll go up, I forget how I do it. And then I take my other piece and I loop it and I'll start stapling again. You know, I used to. So like I was explaining this one time to people a little bit where I was saying why, sometimes I was happy to have a Genie opener because if it was already pre-wired, I was always doing like the happy dance. I was like, I got a Genie and it's already all pre-wired. So this is great. I don't have to cut no wires. I just got to pull back the screws, drop the wires in, and bada bing, bada boom, I'm done. And then there was times where, like if it's a brand new and it's all exposed, I was like, well, I like having the lift master because I don't want, I'd have guys, they want to take shortcuts. And I used to do it, but then with callbacks, I don't do it. And
Mm.
so I would, my brain, nope, I don't want no splices in here. I want this wire running all the way brand new to the opener, no splices, even though, unless I have to, like it's going up in the ceiling and I can't get to it. Well, obviously you have to make that determination. But I used to run into problems where, is it wire nuts or whatever? And now you gotta, it's got a glitch. And, once you do it, you know how it goes, Tony. People just sometimes these guys haven't been through the ringer enough where it's like callbacks are the death. You know what I mean? Because you could be out making more money. You know what I mean? And now the customer's upset. They gotta take time out of their day. You gotta take time out of your day.
Yeah.
It just is not
Well,
good.
Dave, it's even more important now. Even more because you can't set the opener. You can't do shit until you get those photocells working.
Yeah.
Unless you cheat it and have your set that you have up at the
Yeah.
then you can, of course. But
Hmm. Hmm.
oh, if you're like me, I mean, we put it on. I'm boom, boom, boom. We're in and out, And you're
Yeah.
pro. We had them the other day where they're on, and oh man, uh, have the old
I feel like somebody told me, and I thought it didn't make sense, but they were telling me, no, you can still by bypassing it. And I forget how they told me how to do it. And I thought, I don't think you can. I get so irritated with that damn down limit when I'm sitting there and then I don't get it. And then I got to go back through the whole cycle again. And I'm just like, all I keep thinking in my head is I'm going to overheat this damn thing. And now it's going to stop. And
yeah.
then it's going to be like, I'm just going to throw my tools down and be like, well, we're going to take a 10, 15, 20-minute break because, I ran this thing too many times, so,
But I'm not aware of it. I'm not aware of something like that. I mean, there very well could be. I
I
mean,
think it was the way I was shown. It was like, gosh, I thought they were hitting the button. Like they learned, like it would do its up. They just left it and they'd hit it again. And then it was like, now you're just in the down, and then you could adjust your down. And that was supposedly, and I thought, I don't think that's how it works. I think it's going to learn, you know, you bypass the up, but so I don't know for sure. So if anybody can send me something or clarify that, that'd be great because obviously I go back through the whole procedure
yeah,
and,
I do
you
too.
know,
What I normally do, like if I'm mess a button up, or say I'm in a hurry, or I'm coming up the ladder and trying to hit the button while as I'm coming up the ladder, and I bump the wrong thing,
yeah,
plug it. I
right.
work my way back through because to be honest, I know how to program it from the start. Hit the rectangle black, you know.
Yeah.
But ways you can go in and do different things, but I've never read the manual. I've never taken
Right.
never
Right.
time.
Well, I thought I heard a rumor too that maybe they're coming back with the blinking light. I don't know
Oh,
how.
up top,
Yeah,
that'd be good. I
I
always
think so.
That was a great thing. I thought,
I loved it.
why the hell they got rid of it, I have no idea.
Well, supposedly Genie and LiftMaster had some lawsuit, supposedly, but then people were saying, well, you know, Genie never had the blinking light, and I can't recall if they ever did. Maybe they had them older, but I don't remember them. It was LiftMaster always did, but like I said, that's one of the things why I loved LiftMaster because when I was on the phone with a customer on a Friday at 6 o'clock, and I'm going up north camping or something, I could, and I'm like, I can hear, is it clicking, or is it, well, yeah, it's blinking. Okay, let me just explain to you. The only thing that would ever make that happen is there's something wrong with those photo eyes. Well, they're lit. Yeah, I know, but when the door's moving, the whole thing. And so it's just like, I love that. It was just gave me one more tool to help diagnose what was going on. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But I just thought, I heard they were coming back. I was like, well, how can they come back? I was like, why did they get rid of it? I was like, was it,
Good.
I was thinking, did they end up paying supposedly Genie off, or what happened? Why do we get it now? And I thought, well, I was joking. I said maybe they're doing it because I said they need, they're got the cameras and the plastic housings now, and I just said maybe they're trying to we know people are going to be a little discouraged now, so maybe this will bring them back or something, and I thought maybe.
I I think they got rid of it because it was another capacitor or something they had to have on the board making it hot.
Never thought about that.
I don't know.
That could be.
There
That
was
could.
there about 3 years ago, we went through. No, it's been probably 5 years ago. We went through. I was working for another company, and we went through a spell, and it was the 8365s or the 8355 belt driven.
Okay. Yep.
That we were having to change the boards quite frequently,
Huh.
multiple times, and that's rare. I mean, for LiftMaster, for me anyway, I've my whole career I've sold LiftMaster.
Oh yeah.
Ever been with. That's all I've ever that we sold. I've
Right.
a lot of stuff, but yeah, never had the problems, and but till they started putting it on the phones. That's
Mm.
noticed it a lot more. And oh, speaking of, I went to a job not too long ago to change the board. And it was 8165, I believe.
Okay.
It did not have a back light. It had a front light, but not a back.
Hmm.
And I bought some boards, with the yellow. Oh, it had the yellow antenna, so it was the 890 frequency or whatever.
Right.
And I pulled the back off, telling the guy, "Oh yeah, I got you. No problem. I'll have this up and running." I pull it off. Yeah, yeah, big mistake. You know that. But I thought I had them covered.
Right.
Well, I pull the board off, and uh, my boards are, the length of the back of the plastic.
Uh
This board was half the size.
huh.
Get this. I'm like, what do I do? So I go to my lovely Service Spring buyer's guide.
Mm-hmm.
I look up because that's where I buy my boards from. So
Right.
it tells me it'll cover all these different units. Just because that board was this big, my board that big worked. Same pin hookup, everything.
Hmm.
And you know what? That unit was only, it was a 2024 with a small board. Mine was double the size with more whatever those little capacitors or whatever.
Yeah.
So I think there might be something to that. And I noticed with the same thing, a small little board, and I changed them out within a year.
Whoa.
That's just my theory. I've been noticing.
The men in the little black suits are going to come get you.
Yep, they are. I'll,
Yeah.
um, no, that's just I. I did still end up saving the day though. I could not believe it. Looking at you would have thought, no, that board ain't ever going to work. But
Right.
in Service Spring, and luckily, because I mean, the box don't tell you anything. It don't tell you, hey, it's going to cook this. So I had to do my research. Thank God I had a book on me, and it told me 8165, the 80 8155. It covered like 8 or 9. So be aware.
This
Be
is this is going deep. Do we have to pay money for this fine service? This is some good stuff right here.
right out of guys. Pay. Yeah, this is good stuff. No.
Dang, man, that's
Yeah, that's just things I've been finding out. So the board, I think your second board you get from LiftMaster is actually a better board than that one like Chamberlain. If you notice, Chamberlain only has a 1 year warranty.
mm,
LiftMaster has 2
could
on
be
that.
onto something there.
I think I am.
Could be onto something
I,
there.
why is that board half the size when you first buy it? When I tell you the second board, it's a nice big, got all this protection over here. I'm thinking, I mean, I don't know. Again,
Right, right, or distributes the heat better, or just
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's obviously more material. Why? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah. Well, they want to cheapen everything up,
oh,
what they can, and they got you. They, once they got you by the gonads there, and
I know somebody either messaged me or something. They were talking about that. They were saying it was the distraction that was supposedly the reason why they got rid of those red covers. Remember the beautiful red covers the LiftMaster had? I forget what model that was.
yeah, yeah,
And it was such a beautiful color. I mean, I installed them, and it was like, to me, it was like a 66 or 67 or whatever, like a GTO Pontiac. It just looked
yeah,
beautiful. It was just a beautiful, like, and
yeah,
that thing looks so nice just up there. Well, supposedly somebody was telling me that the reason LiftMaster said the reason they got rid of it was because people said that it was too, too like gaudy, almost too, it was a distraction. It was too much. I thought, why wouldn't you want attention? Why wouldn't you want people looking at that going, wow, that's a really nice looking opener, or that's a really nice whatever. So
yeah,
I don't know if that's quite true or not, but
yeah.
I just, I'm just disappointed that we're going to supposedly plastic covers. And I thought,
That's I
we're,
would.
we're, go- we're
That's
going to plastic covers. We might as well, to me, it's like, that was always the difference between, like difference between Genie and LiftMaster.
well,
LiftMaster is a nice metal cover, and then here's
you want
Genie,
to
the
you
plastic.
stand out from everybody else.
Right.
Hey, ask Kevin. He
Yeah.
found because I had a nice purple shirt on. I was probably the only man in the whole place with a purple shirt. Seriously, that's what he told me. He said, "Well, you were up You said you were up by the food place, and I just looked for a guy with a purple shirt. But seriously,
That's cool.
you
That's
know,
cool.
and that color, I know what you're saying that was, yeah, but it's weird to get rid of it. Yeah,
Dude, must be Chip must have bought something for $2.99. He says on here, 2 holes must be the gel connectors. I'm assuming. Uh oh, Rusty. If it ain't white, it ain't right. Oh my gosh, gray is best, guys. Blinds to West. What's the Pier Wire? I'm probably behind on these.
yeah,
Blue. Let's see what I said about Launch Smith. I didn't see it. Loves cats. Oh yeah. Blended to white safety sensor wires. Oh, found a box. Oh, is it at your job? Dang. Oh, box cast. What do you do with that? Weekly cruise. Weekly cruise Thursday night from May to end of September. Draws a couple hundred weekly. Final one in September has become a big event. Draws 2 to 3 thousand cars. Holy
yeah,
moly!
it was huge. Yeah,
Wow. What's Steven? He says I tried using 3Ms. He says with special players, but I had a few problems with them. Question mark. What problems did you have?
yeah.
What kind of problems? We need the details.
I used to not like them. Um, I did have from time to time. Um, I did have, I'd dig in the box and the red cap would be gone.
Yep. Yep.
You know, and that pissed me off. But
Yep. Yeah. I've had that with the lows, and then
uh,
I normally I found out it's easier. I just don't even screw with them. I just chuck that one and just grab another one.
yeah,
I used to try to save them, and it just never felt like it went in right. Screw this. I just on to the next. You
after
know.
the last, 2, 3, 4 years of trying to ram that in those clear ones,
Hmm.
I'll gladly have a red cap missing.
Oh man.
Just,
Yeah. That's yeah.
no,
Yeah.
I'm all about time. You know,
Oh.
boom, boom.
Yep. Players who with them. Yang says tape is don't judge. Tape guys, Tony. You guys can't be using tape. Is anybody serious? Are they really using tape?
I
You should
hope
not be using tape. I don't think you can be using tape.
I don't use tape.
Tape, man. I mean, I think I did when I first started out. I didn't know what I was doing, and then you know how it is. You see it every time. It won't stick right, and it's just like, this looks kind of unprofessional.
Yeah,
I mean,
the stick's so tight.
yeah.
And then black tape in the van in the heat
Um,
transfers. Uh, it's
gets
just
all
you.
gooey.
Yeah, at least the ones I buy. Maybe I don't buy the right stuff.
No, you're right. They get all gooey and just I just can never get them. By the time you touch them with your fingers, trying to get them to look nice, one tail comes off, and it's just like, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Smith says, I hate working on 443 phase. Well, is 12. Yeah, 12 volts. It's a piece of cake. Heck yeah, that big stuff. That's same way people don't want to work. Kevin's got what's Kevin got? Kevin car club. Cargo that does that. Got to get ready tomorrow. We'll see you, Smith. Good night, says Smith. What's this say? Kevin's enthusiast restaurant, big Amish tourist stop in
The,
Middlebury.
the Essence House. That's how you say it. Essence House Restaurant. It's
Oh,
very worldwide, world known restaurant. President
really?
went there. Oh yeah. Christmas time, it's an amazing place to go. They have a lot of shops around that area. It's
Wow,
really nice area. Super nice. I mean,
really?
yeah, a lot of good food. Good food. It's all like Amish area.
Sure.
Good home cooked food. Awesome place.
Nice. Chinese boards, not Mexican boards. Oh, never know. Never know. And those circuit boards could be the either it's Mexican or Chinese.
Yeah, true. I I think yeah, I don't know. I don't wanna lie. I wish my van was right there. I'd go jump in it and look.
Well, I still like I said, I remember on loop detectors for gate operators, my vendor, I had a customer that was just, it was like 4th of July's coming. So it was just, we need to get our gates running. We got people coming. We can't have people that don't belong in here. Okay, okay, okay. So I boogie down to Grand Rapids, an hour one way, right? Boogie back up. I didn't look in the boxes, right? It's like that thing that we just have to learn. And I struggle with it sometimes, but we have to slow down and we have to open the boxes and you have to look. That's why I always try to nowadays when I'm working on cars or anything, I really, really, really try to always bring the old part so you can look at everything and the bolts are all the same. But I remember I get up there and open them up and this is interesting. Normally they're black. This one's white, but it looks the same, exactly the same, but the color's different. I'm like, oh, I'm just different design. I plug it in automatically. It does not work. And I'm just like, what? And I'm like, no way. So I grab another one because I've got two just as a plug that one. It doesn't work. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, and I'm running out of time during the day. Like I'm already, I already got service calls that I'm backed up on. Now I got to run all the way back, and I'm up in up like North Muskegon or something, trying to get back over to Grand Rapids. And so I remember I called the vendor and she's like, "Oh yeah, this and that." And I told her, I said, "They're not the same." Well, they're the same. No, 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 no. I said, I'm telling you, I said, I'm holding one. I said, one's black. I said, one's white. I said, they're not the same. Well, it was when the cough syndrome was going on. So we couldn't get them from China. So we had to get them from Mexico. And I'm just like, well, the ones from Mexico, really? And I'm like, yeah. Oh boy. Well, bring it back. I think I might have just still a couple. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I wanted to grab her through the phone and be like, "Why don't you bring it to me right now? Why don't you leave your office and drive? I already been to your place." You know,
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to talk to you about that. I don't know if you've seen the light bulb thing, LED light bulb. Did I talk to you about that?
I think you didn't you do a video on it though.
I put a. I don't think I did a video. I just did a post on my thing
Oh
with.
yeah, 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 yeah. Oh,
Oh,
that's right. I think because I commented, I think I asked. I said, "What kind of opener was it?"
it was a LiftMaster. Yeah, I
Okay.
only sell the 8365. Well, I shouldn't say that. I do have some belt now on the shelf, but
Oh,
they're a LiftMaster. Um,
right.
but okay, I'm just going to tell you the whole story. I feel
Good.
so bad. So I go to the house, and I'm not blaming this channel or anything, but I've got into the groove of replace it. Well, it's not the best thing to say because it bit me in the fucking ass. So, anyways, I go to the job. I replace her opener. Oh, opener. It's a mechanical one. It was still working, but she was having a problem with it. Remote's working right. I said, well, just that time you spend that kind of money. I just told her, so we replace it. Calls me up. Last No, she calls me up a week or so after I put it in. Tony, having problems with these remotes. I said, well, I don't, Betsy, whatever her name was, little old lady. Well, these operators sit on the shelf a while. I don't know how long they've been on the shelf. The batteries could be bad. I said, I'll come over. I'll change the batteries in it. It's a brand new opener. So I changed the batteries. Goes by. I get says, Tony, he says, my daughter brought me home from a wedding the other night, and he tried to open the door, go and use the remote. Oh, when I went back and changed the battery, I not only button, it was a 3-button remote. Not only had it on the big button, I moved it to the number 3 one in case that one didn't work. She was hitting it on the edge. She could use. Okay.
Good idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I covered bases. Yep.
Mhm.
Well, she tells me her daughter drove her home that night, and her daughter could not get either button to work. Like, she got this old lady. It's, I said, ma'am, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll bring you over tomorrow morning. I'll come over. I'll give you 2 brand new remotes. Take your old ones. We'll see what happens. So I go over there. He goes, well, thought about what you said on giving me the 2 new remotes. And I'm just not real comfortable with having 2 remotes out there that might work my door.
Oh no. Oh no.
I said, well, I said, I said, here's what I'll do for you. I said, Jeff, get up there and hold that button in. He held it. I said, try the remotes. No, they don't work. I go, well, they don't work. She goes, well, they didn't work before.
I was just thinking that.
Oh,
I was just thinking that.
I had her hit the button first. I should have had her hit the button. I'm thinking, son of a gun. Okay, she's got me. She's good. I'm like, goodness. Okay. Well, I said, ma'am, trust me. I said, I'm not, I just deleted. I said, these bad remotes, if they're bad, are deleted from the system. You have nothing to work on that. I said, well, put me in 2 new. And we're talking. He goes, well, I just don't understand it. He goes, I'm having the same problem I did before. Instantly, it went click. Okay, Tony, you got to check the light bulbs around here. What's going on? The ones that I put in, I pulled down. Okay, we put in our bulbs. We didn't put hers back. Sometimes I do that. Tried,
Right.
and then she had another. She didn't have any LEDs. Well, I said, when you came home after the wedding, I said, was this wedding at night? She says, yeah. I go, well, how did you end up getting in, anyways? She goes, my daughter got out of the car and went over to the wall, but the keypad and got us in. Bitch. It's a fucking LED. Yeah, run out to the van and go change her front light bulb. He went and did that. He says, why am I doing that? I said, bring me that light bulb. I grab it. Nice, heavy porcelain fucking light bulb. In my experience, if they're heavy, they fuck with your shit.
Really?
Yes, sir. I was like, oh my Lord. I said, ma'am, here's your problem. She goes, oh, well, that's great. I spent $630 to out. I said, well, I guess I did. What do you say? But I figured it out.
Yeah.
That's how the whole thing went. I mean, talk about being,
Wow.
felt bad. She had to spend the money. And I've always been that guy that I want to try to fix it.
Right.
I've kind of adopted the just change it out. Well, it'll bite you in the ass sometimes just changing it out.
Yeah.
Got to really listen to that customer what they're telling you. You know,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
I mean that sucked to look at this old lady and tell her here's your problem, and then her coming back with that cost me $630.
Smart lady. She's on her.
She's
She's.
she's very smart. Yeah. What do you say to that? I felt bad.
It's weird. I feel like some people have commented before, but I haven't got enough validation from people, and I can't say I got enough validation with myself even. But I don't think I've ever had a genie that I can remember have the problem with the LEDs, which is really weird to me.
Yeah.
But Chamberlain and Liftmaster, oh yeah,
100%.
oh yeah,
I can guarantee. I'm a yeah. I don't know how many times I went and changed the light bulb. I've called. I remember my boss the first time it ever happened to us. He called. I said, "Man, I can't get this to work." Blah blah blah. He said, "I called LiftMaster." He said, "Change the light bulb." I said, "What? Change
yeah,
the light bulb?" Sure enough,
yep.
fixed it.
Yeah, I seen a post, a couple years ago. There was a whole city block or whatever it was, a subdivision somewhere over in Detroit, and they were having problems. The whole neighborhood was kind of having problems with most because they strung everywhere LED lights. It was blocking the signal.
Mm,
So I never can really find what's I've heard it's if you buy. So it's interesting that you said this one was a heavy one.
yeah,
It would have been cool if you could have found the manufacturer or took pictures of it, because
it was an LG, I believe.
LG, okay, because I always was told if they have bad insulation, that's what causes them to radiate the bleed off. You know what I mean?
I
So
yeah, I've always went off of weight.
that's interesting.
If it has some weight to it, well, see, I buy mine at Menards.
Okay.
They're the blue box LED.
Yeah.
The blue. Have you probably seen them?
I don't think I've always done the Lowe's. I've been doing Lowe's ones, and we
Well,
haven't
they're really good.
had too many problems.
They're lightweight. You can throw them across the room and let them hit the floor, and then put them in. They work. They're great. Uh,
Hmm.
they don't interfere, and they're real lightweight, super lightweight.
Hmm.
But yeah, anything heavy and like it's totally different material. That white, not
Yeah.
the globe part, but the white. It's not a plastic. It's like a porcelain.
Porcelain. Yeah.
On the ones I have had, I mean, every time they're like heavy, and it's like, oh, that's it.
That's an interesting
Oh,
theory. I'm glad you mentioned that because I'll definitely take that in consideration. I know one of the workers here. I think he went to the opener somewhere between 4 and 5 times because we ended up. It was one of those things where, hey, the remotes aren't working. Well, they went up there and it was like he changed the board.
hmm
You know, then he went back up there, changed the board again. Then finally, the question kind of came up. Hey, when you started having this problem, how long are these? I think he had like fluorescent lights up there.
hmm
Oh, that was probably about a month ago, probably about the same time. And it's like, it's these lights that are causing it. So all this inconvenience, all this money and time spent, and come to find out it's a light. And like I said, I can't remember any genies ever doing it. I don't know what genie if genie does. I just don't know if I never caught it. You know what I'm saying? I can't say you know, I've nailed this down. I mean, what would be cool is if like that light bulb. I'm assuming you didn't keep that light bulb.
I to her, I said, don't ever use this bulb again.
But if you ever got bored, it might be something where, or if you come across another one, you might want to get it and see if we could reenact it. Because that'd
Well,
be kind of cool. Because I'd be willing to bring like a genie, and then
yeah,
do like a lift master and see if we
I
can reenact it.
I could go over. I could go over and get it from her if she still has it. But here's the thing. Now think about this. This is a 10-foot door. Hers was only a 9 by 7. There's a light right there. If you can see
Yeah.
the light, it's funny how when she was in her vehicle, she would hit the remote from here. It would not work, but yet she could come over here because
Yeah.
it was on the other side of the light.
Right.
It still worked.
I know.
Isn't that a trip? I
Oh,
mean,
I know.
that's deep, man. How do you figure that kind of crap out?
I always think of it as like, and that's that's why one time when we were talking about it, when you just do the stuff, you just do the stuff. But that one time when Cap was asking me, and he's like, "You ever replaced a circuit board in one of the commercials?" I'm like, "No," and he's like, "Either have I." We've done one. He's
Yeah.
done one so far in the Genies, and then it was like one day we're talking. It's like, "Have you ever put an extended range radio on a Genie?" No, and I'm like, "Yeah, me neither." But I'm thinking, I've done so many commercial ones for fire departments and all this, and I'm like, if it's a building with metal doors, it's already like a given. You're doomed. Like you gotta. And then the problem is, like, I remember Josh. That's how I got introduced to Josh down by you. He was calling me. He had a whole row of storage unit ones, but they were bigger. 12 by 12s or 14 by 14s. He's like, where do I mount these antennas? He's like, do I bring them up to the ceiling? And I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, this is a nightmare. Like, I'm like, yeah, I'm like, you could put them through the. And he's like, well, I don't want them to leak with water. And then he's explaining, and then I'm like, I said, the only way I can ever describe it is, I said, I always think of it. I learned it from the gate operators, because we put an antenna on the cabinet, but you couldn't get your signal through the fence. It's like the fence worked like a satellite, and so I always looked at it always like I was like throwing a water balloon, and when it would hit something, it would disperse. So I always thought I got to get that antenna. So if I throw that water balloon at that fence, it's got to disperse and hit the antenna somewhere, and that seemed to work. So anytime I'd always bring them above the fence line,
Uh-huh.
that would help. And then sometimes with LiftMaster, like when I did the fire department, and I found out kind of the hard way that LiftMaster told me afterwards. They said, the remotes that are made for the opener are actually a little bit stronger than the universal ones. And
Mm.
I'm desperate, man. I already put a extended range antenna out there in the corner, the best I could for routing it. I put it actually in the jam, and I thought of the water balloon, and it helped, but it wasn't like a wow factor. Now they're already on like high alert. You know what I mean? This is
Yeah.
a fire department,
Yeah.
so I mean they want to get into their building. You know what I mean? And they
Right.
got workers and employees
Yep.
and guys running these big trucks, and all I'm thinking is they're going to not hit it right, and they're going to smash into the door, and they need to get as much range as they can to
Right.
get in this building, get refueled back up, whatever they got to do, and get the hell out of here again. And so it was better, but it wasn't impressive. It was so I'm with you, and that's those are the things that'll keep you up at night. That like you said, you feel bad. She spent the money, and then gosh, I should have caught this from the get go. To I don't know,
But
like I said, I'm
know,
with you. It's deep.
the thing was, I kind of beat myself up over it, but you think about it. Would I really, caught that? Because I would have kept leading. It's this old, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think.
No, sometimes that's how everything goes, right? With a furnace or anything in your life, one thing finally led you there. You know what I mean? But
Uh-huh.
you had to start with something, and you had to do process of elimination. And unfortunately, this one just was kind of the one that crossed over.
Yeah.
And I had a buddy. That's how I kind of learned about it from the get go, because we used to use the curly cues. Remember the curly cue light bulbs?
Oh yeah.
That was the big thing, man. I'd always be up there doing my stuff, working an opener. Customer come out, can you put this in? This is an energy saver. It's going to save me all kinds of money. And I'm like, oh yeah, sure, why not? All right, Well, then we start having a little bit of issues, and I think they finally came out with a memo, or then it started having on the box. They show the curly cube with an X, and I was just like, oh, And then all of a sudden, by the time they sent the memo or whatever, it seemed like here the phone calls started trickling in. Not every one either. It
Yeah.
wasn't always just a guarantee. It was just like some had a radiant that day, or the way it's like you wonder if it's the way the light bulb's twisted, if it's shooting a ray out that way and not this way. I don't really know.
Either way it was made. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I mean, I remember my first experience with it was actually at my house. I rebuilt an old Craftsman and needed a gear kit or something. It was super old. It was right in that between phase where it had the dip switches to a learn button type thing on. It was right in that era. And I remember I bought one of those whatever the ballast and the tube lights. Bought it from Menards. I stuck it up right behind the opener. Wanted bright light right there, so I'm working on motors, working on my car, waxing it, whatever. And I just remember the light would be on, right? And I'd be out doing stuff, and there go the garage door. Just not consistently, just randomly would open and close by itself. And I don't know. And it never really concerned me because I slept right next to it. My bedroom was right next to it, but I went, it never does it when I'm sleeping. I just thought that's kind of odd. It never does it. And then finally one day I'm in there and we're having a little fire and some friends come over and they're like, your garage door's open and closes by. I'm like, yeah. Like, well, aren't you the garage door guy? I mean, and I'm like, yeah, I probably should look into that. And I remember I took a cover off an old opener and I just stuck it on the back of that opener. I spun it on the light, one of the two, and all that worked as like a shield. And I never had a problem again. I sold the house with that thing still on it with the shield. And I explained to the guy why it was there. you know? And so it never had a problem every time I put that little shield on there.
Oh wow.
But I remember when I went down to a buddy's down the road here, a truck accessory place, and his brother's he's real geeky, like, he's really smart. But he's hey man, tells me he's come over here. Oh, okay, what's going on? Hey man, he goes, oh man, he goes, and this was just when LEDs, like nobody had LEDs yet. It was almost like they're kind of expensive or whatever. Just nobody could go through their whole house yet and change them all. He's like, man, I went through my whole house. I changed everything to LEDs. They're sweet. And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, but he goes, you know what? He goes, if the hallway light's on in my kitchen, my garage door remote doesn't work anymore. He's like, you know how I figured it out? I'm like, tell me, dude. Like, I'm dying for information here. And well, I go home that one night and he goes, I tell the kids, I call them on the phone. He says, I tell them, shut off the hallway and shut off the kitchen light. Boom. He says, open works just fine. He said, otherwise I had to get out of my truck. He said, and literally go up to the door to make it finally open. And I'm like, that's just freaking nuts. And so then, so we already went through the curly cube stage. Now I'm just going, oh my gosh. I'm like, please quit changing these light bulbs. You're making my life hell. So then, now here we are. And I thought we were kind of past that because I really haven't seen or heard. I mean, we had one about a year or two ago, like I said, the one with the guy that went up there and changed the circuit board. But like I said, I still have not come across a Genie that does it. And I don't know if it's just they got something in there built because don't quote me on this, but I heard, and I don't know if this matters or not, but I heard the president or whatever from GE, the ones that make the light bulbs, eventually came over to Genie and was the president. He quit GE light bulbs and came over to Genie. And then that made me think, I go, oh, that's probably why, Genie, I think they were the first ones, they came out with the light bulb. They're always, I mean, when I used to go to the seminars, they always, do the light bulb trick and they toss you one like short, so you're like, oh, and you go to grab it and it hits the ground and like, ha ha ha, see, this one's unbreakable. Like this one won't shatter on you. This one won't give off any radiation. And they're always promoting that light bulb. And sometimes I'd use them for certain customers because just certain customers I never wanted to go back to. I never wanted to have a problem, or they're already kind of like your customer. Like, I've been here so many times. I'm so sick of you. I love you, but I don't want to be here all the time. And I got to figure this out. And I can't have any more callbacks. You're so disappointed in me. And I'm so disappointed in myself. So it's just, but like I said, I just still have yet to find a Genie. And I just always wonder if there was, they're just because they're using a different frequency that they can get away with it, or it's just, I don't know. I don't know. What's your
I'm
thoughts?
right. You're probably right. Right. Or something.
I,
Yeah.
I wish I knew, but like I said, I've never come across a Genie that was doing that weird freaking out thing.
Me either.
But LiftMaster,
I don't ever recall, and yeah, I don't, I've
so
never.
it's like, I guess I'm basically encouraging your viewers or anybody that if they do, please take a video and either send it to Papa Tony or send it to me. I want to see it. I want to see it and validate it. And that's why, like I said, what we should probably do is eventually, like I said, if you get around that lady or something, if how it is though. I about guarantee you get that light bulb, you put it in something, it's not gonna. The remote will work fine. You'd be like, I don't know, like it's like it gets a weird flow to it how it is. Maybe not. Maybe not. I can't say that for sure,
I think
but
it would. I think it would work. I might have something here. I might have one here. I don't know. I'll have to check.
it might be worth a shot because I'm curious. I just sometimes sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy. Where like I said, when I've talked to Cap, we talked about the commercial, and he's like, "You ever do a circuit board?" I'm like, "No." I'm like, "That's weird that you say that." And then we talked about the extended range, and I'm like, "Yeah." I'm like, "That's weird too." And then I'm thinking about the light, the LEDs, and I'm going, "Yeah, I don't recall." But I remember countless Chamberlain Liftmasters going to. I mean, I remember one was way down in Holland. That one sucked, and I remember the lady was just all fluffy, and she was just, she's out there. She goes, "I think my neighbor has got my remote code," and I'm just like, "Yeah, it's not supposed to work that way, lady." I'm like, "They're billion code, like." And so I'm looking at the head unit. It's got two lights on, it, and I can see one's a different shade. And I go, "Did you change the light bulb in this?" And she goes, "Well, yeah." I go, "Well, when did you change it?" She goes, "About a week ago." I said, When you start having the problem, she kind of does that like kind of side like about a week, and I'm like, I came all the way down here for a freaking light bulb. Yeah. So, you know, I'm just like, you know, because I mean, I was irked. The secretary's like, because it's always kind of the fun for like the owner, like you think your crap doesn't stink. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah,
Right.
that opener you installed like a month or two ago. Yeah, well they called, they got a problem, and you're like, that's impossible. I installed it. I used all nuts and bolts. I used a torque wrench even when I did it. I used extra staples. Like there's no way. I went down there personally because it was too far away for anybody else to even try to attempt this. There can't be no problem. And it's like, well, I must go see. And you go back down there, and she's all, the neighbor's got my code, and I'm like, I don't think so. And
Yeah.
so that's why I'm always encouraging people to. I'm like, if you can, I'm like, try to advertise close and try not to do long distance because, like I said, that was right there where it's like you get a kick right in the butt, and you're just like, oh my gosh. Now it's like, what do you do? Because I typically didn't carry light bulbs, and then it's like, if you do carry those Genie light bulbs, they're kind of expensive. I mean, they're like $10, maybe a little bit more now, $12 a pop.
Yeah.
So it's like you sit there and your brain starts going, I just spent $20 in gas. I just spent $20 in my time, and I got this one. Oh my, I'm into this for 50, 60, $80, and I lost productivity, for another job. And you're like, what the fudge?
I would
So,
spend no $10 for a light bulb. Gone.
well, and that's the thing is like, I can't say with 100%. Like I said, you use the ones from Menards,
Yeah.
and you seem to be pretty confident. I've used ones. I think they're GE, the ones I use from Lowe's, but I can't always guarantee that I buy the right ones because these box companies are always changing the model or changing something. They look similar, but it's not the same. And so, it's kind of like, remember when Craftsman, right? Some people were saying, Craftsman used to be made by Chamberlain, then they went to Guardian, and then I guess now they went back to Chamberlain. But if you look at the box, I mean, even for a seasoned vet, I could kind of tell. I was like, well, it looks like it's got like a little cross, like it always reminds me of a hockey mask, with the hex in it on the cover for the light bulb. And I'm like, that looks different. And then that's when people are like, oh, those are Guardian. Guardian was making them for a while. They went back to Chamberlain. And I'm like, oh, well, for the average person, even for me, I'm still kind of looking at them going, oh, it's just regular Craftsman at Lowe's that they've always sell that is made by Chamberlain. And, if I would have got there, installed it, and if, I would know it, but normal person wouldn't. They just go, I bought Craftsman. That's what was up here for 30 some years. I'm going to buy me another Craftsman.
Yeah.
And that was the light bulb moment for me, just like years ago when we had a lawn boy. We rode that thing hard and put away wet. And, we went and bought another lawn boy, and it was the biggest pile of poop, from Walmart. I think it was, well, I think he said it wasn't from Walmart, somewhere else, but still, it was just junk. And
Right.
so, I'm always concerned where I'm like, sometimes I get certain customers where, like, I was working with Caleb on one of his jobs for his customer, and he was like, "Could you come help me finish this job?" I said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, I knew he didn't think about light bulbs, so I grabbed some, but I'm at the store, right? And they got some like at Lowe's. They got where the light bulbs are, and they actually say they're garage door, but they're not all labeled up pretty. They say these are made for garage door openers. They're a little bit cheaper. So I'm like, wow. So I grabbed four of those because there was two openers there. So I grabbed four of those, but then I was like, this job's way too far away for him and me. So I was like, I'm not coming. So I went and bought the Genie, and you know how it is until you're there, and it's like, you're sweating, you're smelling your armpits, and you're jiving with everything, and it's like the opener's talking to you, the door's talking to you, the customer's talking to you, your power tools are talking to you because they're running out of battery, or they smoke on you right there, and you're like, yep, we're not taking the chance. We're going to spend the we're going to do the extra $4 light bulbs right now. Like, I don't give a crap because I'm not coming back to this job. The customer's mean, whatever. And so you just, I had a lady down the road that did that to me one time. I've done this so many times. I tell you what, I just get so sick of it because I've gone and you know, I told the lady, I said, hey, I said, ma'am, I said, I took your opener. I said, I took the light bulbs out of your opener. So I'm just letting you know that it could last a week. It could last 2 years. I don't know. Okay, okay. She's over there just doing her laundry or whatever she's doing. Right. And it's like, you understand what I'm saying? You understand the words that are coming out of my mouth? You know, it's just like, and 2 weeks later, or whatever, get the phone call. I actually wasn't answered it. Hello, Farta Blur, yay. And she's, ah, she, this opener is just, I think is junk. And I'm like, opener's junk, really? You know, it's a nice LiftMaster, whatever. And she's, God, she's light doesn't come on. And I'm like, doesn't mean the opener's junk. You know, I'm like, I need somebody. And I said, well, I said, ma'am, and I'm really swamped at the time. I'm going every which way. And I'm like, man, I'm like, do you not have a son or something, or you know, maybe a grandson? I don't have nobody, you know. And I knew from when I was there, she was not able, and, yeah, and I can't get on no ladder. And so what did I do? I got my hiney up right from this seat. I drove over to Lowe's. I bought the expensive light bulbs because I said I want zero. Like this customer is just, she's already, you know, this opener you installed is junk. You know,
Yeah.
and so I just thought I'm gonna give you the best of the best. And that's why I'm always like trying to encourage people. I'm like, you should replace the light bulbs. You should use the light bulbs that you feel comfortable with, that you don't have this kind of problem. And obviously you couldn't fix this one either because this light bulb was out of your control. So it's just it gets overwhelming sometimes.
Oh,
I can't wait. I can't wait, Evan. I can't wait.
yeah. Right. Sleep.
Come join the insane club.
Yeah. Uh, Shit, you sit there and lay and think about at night.
Oh, that's why I'm always telling. I'm like, that's why it's always like my joke. I'm like, you know how much sleep I lose? You know, you're just sitting there thinking about like, what could I've done different? Maybe I should, you know, what if they go online and start writing bad reviews? Maybe I should just give it back. Maybe I should, maybe I should, maybe I should, you know, and it's just like, and then it's like, that's why you got all these external forces working against you. It feels like sometimes, you know, where I'm always like, you're getting a crappier product. You got people out there changing just silly light bulbs that are making your job even worse.
Yeah.
You know, then you're trying to get to the job. So you got automotive companies that are screwing with these vehicles all the time that are making, you know, stuff that's maybe not as reliable. And then or you got maybe power tools that are changing or doing goofy things. And you know, it's just like, huh. You know, and then you go to the customer and you tell them, well, this is going to be 4, 6, 1,200, $2,000, and they're sitting there going, huh? I can go to the store and buy it for $148. It got it on sale, and you're just like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
You're paying for a service. So, like for this instance, for this lady, think of how many times you came out and you didn't come out there and just go, hey, ma'am, it's going to be another 120, 180, $200.
No.
No, I'm here to take care of you. This is what you paid me for. I got to honor it. I got to figure this out. And now you're on a
Uh,
mission too, because you just want to make it right. You're like, what's the hell's going on here? You know, like, am I losing my mind?
it was. Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, so I mean, that's just part of, you know, the gig. I had a lady one time, you know, she lived on the lake, and we did fudge the numbers a little bit. Not for her. We would deduct, I should say, for certain customers. If, you know, we tweak a photo, I think our service calls were 65 back then. We might only charge 35, 45, or $40. And we're there, we're on the lake, you know, we did the service. It wasn't too bad. I think we did a gear kit or something, or oh, we cleaned off the limits. I think it had the mechanical limits. Cleaned
Mm.
it off, and that we get done. Lady, like I said, beautiful car, lives on the lake, 4-stall garage, whatever, 3-stall, might have been 3-stall. And you know, we tell her it's gonna be, you know, 65. Oh, geez. She just gets all huffy. And I'm like, geez, I'm like, for two technicians to come to your place and
Okay.
for the knowledge to clean this and get it up, and we PM'd the door. We oiled there, you know, oiled the door and everything, put a sticker on. Oh, so you guys are charging me because I live in the lake. And it's like,
Nah.
I mean, we're not giving you a discount, but this is our service call. And then what was funny is that about 2 hours later, it happened again. So we must have not got one cleaned off good enough. And she called up this door, you know, so we came back. Did we charge her again? No. But it's like, this is why we charge what we charge, because, you know, we have, you know, now we had to come back. Now, if we would have discounted this, we'd be sitting there going, that was stupid, you know, and now we had to come back, gas, fuel, time, you know, so it's just, but people are funny, you know, people are funny. And, but you just got to do what you think is right. You know, I normally did one a month. I would donate. That was my donations, you know, so people ask me all the time, we have a story, you want to donate? No, I donate enough in my business. And I said, you know, so I'd find, you know, like a widow lady or something. You can tell, you know, she isn't fluffing you, that, you know, things are not going good and she's not in the best, you know, and it's like, you're all set. No, 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 yeah, you're all set. Don't worry about it. It was easy fix. It was a J arm, whatever, chain, maybe a master link, something, whatever, photo eye adjustment. You're all set. You know what I mean?
Yep.
If you want to do something, you're probably not computer literate, so or good on a computer. So you really should, if you want, you can give us a Google, recommend us to your friends, whatever. We'll get you on the next one. So that was always I always had one a month. I kind of would say that'd be my donation.
That's what I had a guy tell me to do that because I said, yeah, my worst enemy. He says, heck, don't do that. He said, charge the people. He said, just donate, do a job a month or something.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I look at it. I mean, maybe sometimes it didn't do one that month, so you do two another month, or just, you just use your, best judgment, because there is people that you can just genuinely tell, they're hurting, you know?
Yeah. Hey, can I ask you to do me a favor?
Yeah.
Can you read the comments? I gotta go get my charger. They're
Yep.
killing. I had a full battery. Now it's dead already.
Yeah. They eat it.
I'll be right back.
Oh, yeah. All right. Sorry. I don't know. Top release. My Q files. I don't know if Evan's still on here. That's a good one. Release my Q files. I know what that. I get what you're getting at there. Probably before we see the Epstein files. Oh my gosh. And it's weird. Did you guys hear it all? That supposedly, I don't quote me on this, right? But there was, 3 hours before Charlie, um, the Congress voted not to release him. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. I'm sorry, I was rambling a lot, so I got to go. I'm gonna get through these. We got to get through these comments, man. I'm sorry. Probably see Dave if the last with no problems. I don't care what the cover is made from. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. After being about what is this? After being out of the country for 2 weeks, it's to work tomorrow, and was it behind? Oh, I know. I bet. I bet. Still, it sounds like Papa Tony's staying busy. The agenda's pretty booked on there from what I can tell. So things are, I just don't think things like for the guys that are kind of wondering out there. I don't think things are really. I think for the guys that've been there, they got the roots really deep. Been around for a long time. I think the business is pretty good, but for guys starting out, I'm sure it's kind of a bloodbath, and Rusty got 4 doors that I'm waiting to come in for various jobs. Awesome, man. That's so good, Evan. I was happy to hear that. So far, I'm putting in doors till November. Nice, nice. Made in China. Is that assembled in Mexico? The porch light interference. I know, man. Isn't that crazy? Tell her she spent 13 if would have replaced it. There you go. Yeah, right. She'll feel better. Say hi. It says you say have a good day. Stream tomorrow. I don't know if we'll be doing tomorrow. Rich. Don't recall ever having to deal with light bulb interference issues. I have had to deal with metal buildings cause interference. Yeah, it might, like I said, I think the light bulb interference is really kind of a lot of times to me, it's like a numbers games. It's like the more you install, the more problems you're going to see. I mean, I'm assuming that makes kind of sense. But like I said, it doesn't happen every time. I mean, it doesn't happen every time, but it'll catch you in the middle of the night sometimes, and it's just not good. All right, Rusty's got it perfect right there. Wait, grasshopper, your time will come. That is so true. That is so true. Uh, so I had it once after a customer changed out their label. I was not sure what brand they used. I know. I never do enough research. It's like you're just always in a rush. So you just like get it done, fix it, and you're like out of there. So it's like we need to find a way to simulate it. That's why I'm thinking if like PT or something, we get that light bulb or we get somebody who's got one and we could mimic it. I think that'd be a really good thing. And then I'd love to see it next to a Genie to see if it messes with it. Because like I said, I just never, I know. Hey, I'm a little bit of a Genie fanboy. I'm a LiftMaster fanboy too. But I'm just telling you honestly, I've never had a Genie that I can remember. But I remember countless LiftMaster, and it ain't every one. It's like 10 out of 100. You know what I mean? I had a customer change light bulb brands. You guys need to come to my Q 3.0 future. Built-in lights, extra service call money for light panel changes. Oh, maybe that's why they're doing it. Maybe that'll be better. What was it called, Tony? Was it Mazdov, that bulb? Does that mean like take it? Steven had a radio frequency analyst to test for RFI noise. Ooh, that's not a bad idea. Smith's, you're good. What's he got here? All good. That's right. No, there was no need to pause, guys. So the chat, see here. I had good luck with the ones from NARS, the Fleet brand, huh? Hmm. Maybe we'll have to try them. I know we're like dying for light bulbs over here. I don't know what the deal is. Like the guys eat them. Normally, we always have them sitting on the fridge out there. I used to actually go in the boxes. I actually have blue saran wraps. I used to tear them open, I'd put them in there. Oh, I do. And so I used to put them in the boxes.
Good deal.
Blow up the chat. Lucky ones. I had good luck with the ones. Yeah, so I think Rich B is using the same ones you are, Tony, for light bulbs from Menards.
Yeah, they're good ones.
The light bulbs used to irritate me so bad that any opener, I used to like set them off to the side, and it was like I would just tell everybody, I'm like, don't touch those openers, and I'd literally go through the packages, open them up, I would stuff light bulbs in them, then I'd reseal them, which I had kind of because blue's kind of our color a little bit, so I'd wrap them in some blue tape, and that was always our indicator that hey, this one's been gone through. This one has two remotes, an outside keypad, and it has light bulbs, so it's ready to rock and roll. And so I used to do that quite a bit because
Yeah.
light bulbs were just getting out of control. They were driving me nuts.
I just carried that box. I think they have like, I don't know, 20 in there or something. We just carry a box of those in there. What I like nowadays, they don't break.
Yeah, yeah.
They use
No, that's
vibrator,
really nice.
be all busted up.
Yeah, I got some though. They still make obviously some with the metal or the not the metal, but the glass.
Oh
And,
yeah.
I was at somebody. I think I was at a customer's, and one rolled off the table. I didn't even try to go for it. I was just like, yeah, it's fine. I'm like, oh my gosh! I was like, I didn't realize that was glass. So I had a weird different brand, but that's why for me, because we were pumping so hard, with subcontractors and that. I just, you know how it is. It'd be like, obviously, like you even did it with this customer, right? It just gave me no reason now, and the subs and employees. There's no reason what's in that box goes with the customer. That was one thing I was really struggling with because, sometimes they don't really need a second remote. I don't care, they're going to pay for it because it only costs us, our cost or whatever is $12 or $15 or whatever. I don't care. They're going to pay for this package deal when this thing goes out the door. I need to know that Affordable Door and Gate got paid, for all this product and a little bit of some sort of profit, and they do whatever they want. Like I would get phone calls all the time. Hey, we're out here. The customer now decided that they were wondering if they could get a keypad. You know, yeah, get them a keypad. Well, I don't have one. I used one last week on my truck, so I don't have one. Oh my gosh,
Hmm. Yeah.
you know. And so I never got calls hardly where well, hey, they only needed, they only want one remote, but they got two.
Yeah. Yeah.
Throw it in the junk drawer. Throw it in the garbage can. Take it home with you for if you're an employee. I don't care. Tell the customer to chuck it in their pond. I don't care. but so I always like that's why I really like the Rich B doors because, like I said, when they come with slide locks, I install them for the most part. They come with foot pegs. They come with a rope. When I was dealing with Horman, I remember Horman. It was a joke, right? But they didn't come in the box, and so with her name was Denise. She was a nice lady. She sent me a whole big old box of rope. I'm like, that was nice of you. That was really nice of her. But I'm just like, you don't understand. It's like retail. That's why retail does certain things. Everything's in a box. They don't
Right.
want anything that's separated or this and that. That's why openers got pieced together rails because they want you to pick up a little box. That little Grammy can go. I can take this home and put it in my little Cadillac, and I can take it, and Junior can do it or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's what I needed. I needed everything to be in the box because I didn't know if it was going to go out to an employee. I didn't know if it was going to go out to a customer. I didn't know if it was going to go out to a subcontractor. I didn't know if it was going to go out for me because sometimes I use the same thing, like dielectric grease or anything like that. Oops, I forgot to restock. I ain't got no light bulbs. Man, this one's kind of far away. It's up in Manistee or something, Michigan. Geez, what do I do? And so I wanted everything to be synchronized and for the business to understand that there's a cost. This costs this much with this product. So we need to, you know what I mean? Like it's $300 for this box right here with light bulbs, two remotes, and I'll say keypad. Done. You know what I mean? And sometimes, you might have a multi job, that, whatever. I didn't care. I mean, I've had multiple doors too. And I thought nowadays I go, I'd actually like to have keypads on all of them. Because sometimes, you go to a certain door, you need a certain vehicle or a certain piece of equipment. And I'm like, like, but I thought it was silly back then. I was like, who would put but I'm like, if they got it, I don't care what they do with it. They can put them in their junk drawer if they don't want them on their house. I don't care. They're covered. But I'll need an employee going, hey, they got three doors here and he wants two more. I don't have those. And I'm like, oh, so who's going to come and get it? You? Well, I still got a door to install. I understand that. I appreciate that. So now I got to drop what I'm doing, to run up. And then it's, it causes errors. So now you go up there, maybe you bring Genie ones. Oh, I don't got it. The paperwork, nobody told you, he changed it. He wanted LiftMaster. So, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I always like to do stuff in my own environment. And that way, when it goes out, you should have more than enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that totally makes sense. They're not going to complain if they got an extra remote.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like nobody ever, and then like, I just didn't care because there's, when you got enough employees at some point, there's theft and they do, there's like angle iron. That's one of them. They like to use it to make brackets for their taillights on boats and stuff like that. There's all kinds of things. Or the customer. I've been there when I got the package and they go, oh, their eyes get really big and what are you going to do with that extra angle? And I'm like, well, you paid for it. It's yours. And I mean, oh, they take it and they go shove it in a bucket somewhere and they got the nuts and bolts. What are you going to do with those nuts and bolts? They're all yours, sir. So I need to know that's all covered for versus, I got four chunks of angle that they think's theirs. And I'm like, I didn't really need it, but you charged me. How do you know that? I didn't specify that on your thing, but so I needed everything to be more systematic where it's just, hey, everything's here. I need slide locks. So that was another thing. We did one up in Newaygo, Michigan. And I remember the technician came back. Oh, everything's good. It was through Lowe's. Lowe's contacted us with a work order. Customer was not happy. Why was the customer not happy? Old door had slide locks. New doors do not have slide locks. And I don't think maybe they did provide them. Yeah, they did provide them, but we didn't install them because most guys, and I'm 50-50 on it. There's times too I go, nope, not gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's got an opener on it. And well, they caught us, so what happened? Had to send a technician back up there. And from that time on, I said, you install the slide locks on all of them. Now I always fudge them way over. So I mean, you almost got to shove the door to make them latch the way they're supposed to because I don't like them getting caught in the radius. So I put them way over. I pin them. And I always put a bolt in them. You know what I mean? So it's like, you got to pull the bolt. You know what I mean? Because I've had them catch my clothes before, and I've done it literally just being against the car, and all of a sudden, shink! I hear, oh, holy
Oh,
sheesh!
yeah.
I would not be good. You
Uh,
know, so it's just, so to me, it's like, I just, I that's why I like when, I was kind of laughing a little bit, like, remember you were working for that lady and she's like, well, she's kind of got that panic. Well, what do I do? How do I lock my garage door? Well, if the previous installer would have put a slide lock on there, you go, oh, well, you just, here you go, ma'am, pull this off, but don't forget, which she probably will, but that's not on you. And here you go. Now the door is locked. You're secure, where it's, you know how it is, like with that old lady, it's a psychological warfare sometimes. It's a mind
mm,
thing, where you know how it is. You hold a pair of ice skirts up to a woman, and she's going, huh? And you're like, well, you clamp it on the door and she's just gonna go, and how's that gonna work? And you're like, well, they can't, but if you slide a lock across, and you go, if you really want to be extra cautious, you got a padlock? She's like,
yeah.
yes, I do.
Oh,
"Yeah, let's go get that padlock and you got a key for it? Yes, I. Oh, when you lock that, oh man, that thing's
oh,
Fort
yeah.
Knox, man. Nobody's ever getting to that puppy.
Then they're happy.
Right, then they're happy, exactly. So
Oh,
that's why, when you're sitting here even telling about the remote things, it's almost like that was smart that you did it, but I understand where you're coming from, and I probably would have just went, here, like, you hang on to these ones. I'm gonna get you two new ones. You're all, until we figure this out. You know what I mean? Because I probably just wouldn't have thought that quick. And I mean, you're in no wrong doing that, but I just, how am I going to explain that to this lady? Where I always loved it when people are doing their keypads. Well, they kind of cover it up, and I'm sitting there
yeah,
kind of smiling, going, "You don't know, I already programmed a remote to your, to your door. Like, you're so worried about your code over there, which
yeah,
75% of the time, people always gave me the code. That was always the first thing I always, when I interact with them, I always tell them, okay, we're going to get this, blah, blah, blah. If we got any questions, we'll knock on the door. Oh, by the way, do you got a 4-digit code you want? What I would always do is I'd write it like on the manual. So it wasn't like a personal, like I'm not putting it on my clipboard and I'm going to take it. Like I just write it on their manual, and I'd like, kind of like, display it to them I'm doing it. Like, oh, this is your garage door manual. So it'll just be with you. You know what I mean? Kind of a
yeah,
psychological, it'll be with you. You know what I mean? Like, don't worry, I'm not gonna take pictures or memorize it or program a remote behind your back. It's with you. So it's just those little things that make a big difference. That's why I'm always big about when you're done with the job too, explaining the photo eyes. And I used to love that because I could tell them about the blinking and the only reason I'll ever blink. And then the big one for me too is always make them do the keypad. Make sure the door comes down, make sure it quits blinking,
yep,
and make sure they punch it in and it works. Because now they seen it, they did it, and then when husband comes home and he's slamming the numbers, he had a hard day. All he wants to do is go in and have a cold beer, and he goes, "God, how much you pay this person? See, it doesn't even work." And they're like, the wife's like, "No, it worked fine for me." And goes out there, and you didn't hit enter, dummy. "Duh,
yeah.
you know, what's for dinner?" You know,
I do. I have them lower it to the floor. Yep. And then I tell them, wait till that light goes out, lift it back up. I let
yeah.
them that way.
Yep.
Because if they don't, you're right. It's
Yep,
your,
you can explain it to them, but they still, and I've had people too, or sometimes like with the lift master, I've had people get, like they hit that down button. I explained it to them because I never even knew that thing existed. And then they sit there and they, you kind of see that panic and they go, well, I don't want anybody just to hit a button and it opens my
yeah,
door. And I'm like, no, no, no. I'm like, it won't. And then of course, if it goes down, it's still blinking or whatever, they can still hit it. And it'll, and it's like, let the light turn off.
yeah,
Now go ahead, hit a button. Oh, see, it's not going to work. I mean, these are those things. That's why I thought Lowe's always said it the best.
yeah,
Your first 10 minutes with a customer is the most important, and your last 10 minutes with a customer is really important. They're both important. First impression, you show up, how you doing? You put some cardboard under your vehicle. If you got a leaky car or vehicle, park it on the road if it's leaking. Put a yard sign out. You got a little apparel on, a hat, a shirt, whatever. How you doing? Do you have any questions? Because then normally, most time they go away unless you knock on the door and ask for something. But I try to avoid that. So that's why I'm always trying to get their 4-digit number too. So I don't have to knock on the door. And then when I'm programming it and they're like, well, are you done or how's it working? And they're walking in and out of my garage door. And I'm like, can you please go back inside? You're like in my way. And I'm really on a tight timeline. I got to go. Like I still got service calls. So I try to get all that stuff out. And then when I'm done, it's difficult when you're a newer installer, but you need to take that time to go through that keypad, the wall button. If there's any, this will turn your light, this will lock. I've had the lock one screw me a lot of times too. What I mean? People accidentally reach around, they push that lock button, and then they go to use the remote. And remotes don't work. Well, that's because that lock button was pushed. So that's, and sometimes I've changed them. That's what I used to like about LiftMaster because they used to have that dry contact. So certain customers, old granny and stuff, nope. I have a doorbell switch. Granny's getting a doorbell switch. That way she don't accidentally, because I had a customer that used to always reach around. Their man door was broke and wedged. They'd
oh,
always reach around and they'd always hit that damn, ever since, it used to have a doorbell on it. Now they always hit the lock button. It was constantly calling me, oh yeah, door doesn't work. And I'm like, I'm sure it's the lock. I don't know. No, we looked at it, and it was always like somebody else. It was like father to uncle to brother to a son. And it was like, I'll come out, and it's like, I finally ended up changing it to a doorbell. I think it was, that was the guy that told me one time he bought. That was when I was kind of getting introduced to Extreme, and he's standing there, and some people you might as well just talk to a wall. So he's sitting there and he goes, yeah, I talked to the guy at Menards. This one was $20 cheaper, but he says it's made by the same company, and I'm like, no. I'm like, you couldn't have spent $20 more and got a
right.
Chamberlain. was like, you got to buy this stinking extreme garage door opener. And so, I'm doing the photo eyes and I'm just like, oh, this is going to be nothing but callbacks. And of course, the wall button was killing me on that one, so it was something was goofy on it. But yeah, it was like, yeah, $20. And this is the same. I thought, yeah, same manufacturer. That guy was lying to you. You
Through his teeth, that's for sure.
What I
Yeah.
did what I did find out though with those Extreme or the Guardian so far is that for whatever reason that stranded wire, Mr. Caleb was up there and he kept trying to make the pigtails make it look nice, and I could tell he's getting frustrated, and I'm like, What's going on?" He goes, "This thing won't stay formed." And I'm like, "Oh, obviously it's that stranded cheap wire." I said, maybe that's why they use, solid wire for the other ones. But I was like, yeah. So I tried doing it for photo eyes, and it wasn't holding shape like it
Oh,
should. And I'm like, yeah, I was like, we ain't gonna do that.
I hate those things. Even
I know.
that that's the same thing. Extreme. I seen that. I had to take a picture of it. That, oh my gosh.
Uh, let's see, got here. I wish Evan's got more places here. Carry Craftsman. They look a little nicer. Oh, Craftsman. Oh, whoa, Rich B. You better watch. Papa Tony's on here. Craftsman is Liftmaster. Oh,
Hmm.
that's not all equal. Steven, good night, guys. Good night, Steven. Exactly, you're paying for a service, my years of experience to make sure you're satisfied. Absolutely. Rusty's got, I can order the base model 3.0 openers through Clopay on September 29th. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I've been wondering when somebody's going to come out with, we're going to get our hands on the new openers.
Oh,
I'll take one for the team, he says.
oh,
Evan's, I'm still here. Cool. Glad you're here, Evan, still. Let me know, Rusty, to start putting in genies for a bit. Oh boy, I don't know about that.
uh,
I don't supply. Rusty says I don't supply light bulbs. Ooh,
uh,
that's a interesting statement. What is your take on that, boy? I look at that and I go, that's just I think that's asking for problems.
I I I supply them if I got them.
So I always looked at it like this. I was the same way for a long time. Especially through like Lowe's, they don't supply them. You know what I mean? But then
Yeah.
when I started having all the problems or interference and stuff like that, I started looking at it like this. I went, okay, this is just how I look at it. I go, I go to Best Buy. I buy their big entertainment system, right? Surround sound, big screen TV, right? And I pay the money. I pay the big bucks for them to come install this, right? So the wifey's home, they come install it. Maybe she gave them a little dessert, little lunch or something, gave them a few little drinks of water and this and that, right? I come home, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I had a hard day at work, I'm a big businessman or something, whatever, right? I go to sit down and I go to turn on this damn TV, the surround sound, and it doesn't turn on. Why isn't this working? Oh, well, because they don't supply the batteries. Now, could you imagine?
Yeah.
Like, that's how my mind, I go, could you imagine? Like, you paid thousands of dollars or hundreds of dollars, and you go to push, and you go, what in the mother, and you go, they couldn't give us freaking batteries. They
Yeah.
installed all this wiring, all this, they came into my house, all this crap. And I go, what? I mean, somebody's going to get a phone call, so that's what I try to always tell myself, like, and then the problem with the people don't know, like I look at it like I want to get a year. That's how I look at it. I want to get past a year to prove that my product works, and I don't have to come back. But if I got to come back in 2 weeks or 6 weeks or even 3 months, it does not look. I feel like I'm a shady car salesman. I snowballed you. You know what I mean? Because I get customers that's what they don't know, and they'll just automatically, man, I thought you sold me something good. I'm like sitting there kind of going, yeah, I thought I sold you something good too. You know, so what gives? And so that's why for me it's like, and light bulbs aren't that expensive. Even if you don't buy the Genie ones, you buy a pack. They're what, a couple bucks a piece. To me, it's just, and there's people I've come across, so many people. I mean, I had one up in Ludington, or I think that was an Omega one too. The dude is 7 foot tall, and I did the detail, whatever. The guy comes back. Lowe's is contacting us saying that customer is not happy. What's the customer not happy? It doesn't have light bulbs. And so I'm kind of like doing the, oh, oh, well, let me tell you. And I said, well, I said, here's the thing. I said, you guys don't supply light bulbs. And they go, well, yeah, okay, well, we know. And I'm like, okay, so what do you want me to do? I mean, this is like a 45 hour drive, well, can you at least, we'll furnish them. Can you install them?
Yeah.
And I'm just sitting there just like, I just want to take the phone and start smashing it. And I'm like, you can't send one of your associates out there? And they're like, oh no, that we don't, that's not us, And I said, can you send them to the guy? I said, the dude's 7 foot tall. He don't even need a ladder. Wow, no, this and that. And I mean, they're being polite about it, but I'm just like, I'm infuriated. And I'm just like, so what do I do? I personally, right? Because now I got the employees off to something else. I can't really jeopardize him. He's making money. I got to go up and do this crap work in a sense. So I go up there and it's like I walk in the store, and grab my light bulbs. These light bulbs are free. They know about it. Just walk out back the door, go to the customer as I screw them in, smiling. so light bulbs, that's why I always get really infuriated. Why I'm always like, light bulbs will be the death of me, because
Yeah.
I've just had so many problems with light bulbs over the years. Like I said, for instance, lady just down the road, you know what I mean? And it's right down the road. But the fact that I got to engage and I got to go back into her house, I used her old light bulbs. I explained to her that they're used light bulbs, but that just goes right over her head. She doesn't go on the phone and say, I know you told me they're used light bulbs, but well, they're not working. I got some. I went and bought some. That never happens. But it's like, you know, I got a problem. You were the last one here.
Yep.
My toilet's leaking, my faucet's leaking, my furnace is not, my pilot went out in my hot water tank. You were the last guy here. Do you understand what I'm saying? You were the last guy, last contractor, con man,
Yeah.
contractor, con man that was here, and I want you to come fix it because I paid you $300 or 400 or 1,200 or whatever it is. You were the last one. That's why Lowe's always told us, which I thought was a good way to explain it. They always said about parking on the road. They said if you park in somebody's driveway, you put cardboard under your vehicle. It's a psychological warfare. But if you park on the road, because what they would say is you might be the third or fourth contractor that comes there for the day, and the wife was home. And then now what happens is they leave. And let's say the last guy was the one that left the puddle, but you were the one that drove. So they seen you, but they didn't see the other guy. So
Yeah.
now there's a puddle of oil on their brand new concrete. You know what I mean? So these are why you got to use good judgment calls. Like if you go to a customer and it's brand new concrete, like for me, I'm like, I don't care if my vehicle, I know it doesn't leak. I'm like, I'll just huff it. I got another guy with me, whatever, no big deal. I'll just huff it. Or maybe I park there and I park back off and I check myself. Maybe I might even take a little video. You know what I mean? So I can be like, nope, it wasn't me, ma'am. Like I videotaped it, because those are the things that'll come back to bite you really hard.
Yep. True.
So that's
So
why I'm always saying it's a very psychological game in a lot of aspects. That's the 10 minutes explaining stuff, light bulbs, these, the photo eyes and wall buttons and
yeah.
wall buttons and keypads. So there's a lot of little hurdles
Yeah. I
that'll
agree with that.
beat you up.
10 minutes before, the 10 minutes after. That's I do the same thing.
Yep.
I'm in
Yep.
there, and then I explain the whole thing to them.
Yep. And you got to take the time. I mean,
I
that's
want
just,
to know how they use the product. You know,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
tell them about it. They
Yep.
that's really appreciate that usually.
Oh yeah, they appreciate it, but you're also building, like I said, you're building that stamina with them to understand that it did work. Everything works. So when husband comes, or grandma or mom or whoever, it's not, well, I don't know. I mean, he didn't show me, so they're just hitting stuff, messing things up, or so it's, I still always remember, it was funny to me, the fact that like one time with Lowe's, what did we have? I had a subcontractor. He was over in kind of by Bay City area, and maybe it's Lansing, somewhere in between there. Anyways, I remember he went and did a job, and then, like, they got all upset. And he told me he did the job. Well, he got there. They bought an opener. He gets there. Of course, what is it? It's a broken spring. So it really don't need an opener. But he's there. He kind of convinces him, hey, this one's old. So, but to do the spring, it's this much. So what always threw me, right? That's why I always think about the husband and wife. The wife was fine. He charged her, a reasonable price. It was 200, 300, $400 back a while back. And
Mhm.
but she wrote a check, and so that's what got us, right? She wrote a check. She didn't, it wasn't like he, bribed her or anything or this or that, or took her diamond ring. She wrote a check, and then the husband came home and he was furious. So what happens? He calls Lowe's. Lowe's contacts us. They say this always has to be, gone through us. Okay, sorry. I mean, we were just, we still did the opener, so you guys got paid. It wasn't a return, but they had something else that was wrong. And so they were always real prominent. But then I went to one in Battle Creek, and that one could care less. Like I explained to them, like, okay, this is what's going on. Like I need, approval on this. And they're like, we don't even care. Just do whatever you got to do, and obviously install the opener or whatever. We don't even care. I'm like, oh, so many variables. Like I
Yeah,
don't know how to do this.
I know it. Well, I got one this week. I think it's what is that called? Home field care or something. I think it's like they do. They're a rental
Okay.
pain in the ass. I got to go over there, tell them what's wrong with it,
Oh
then
yeah.
leave when I could fix it right then and there normally.
Right. Right.
Yep. Wait for approval,
Yep.
probably a day or two, then I come back.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I started charging. I charge them $125 just to go out and tell them what's wrong with it,
Oh yeah. Yep.
and then charge them, to fix it.
Yep. Yep.
So,
Makes sense. No, it makes sense. Rich B, let's see, he's got supply bulbs because I know that ones I use work and no callback because their bulbs don't. That's true. That's true.
hmm
Kevin's got customers spending money on new openers shouldn't have to get step ladder out after you leave. Oh, put in light bulbs themselves.
yep.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. And like I said, I kind of got a still a soft spot because I remember when I was first, kind of starting out, it was just always like, like I just tell the customer, I'm like, they supply it's like that's why I always had a problem with some of the lift masters. You can order them a certain way, but we only had a limited time we could order them. But when you go there and you only have one remote, they're like, it's like they're so conditioned because the box stores, they're like, where's, I mean, they always looked at me funny. Where's the second remote? I'm like, it says on your thing it's only one remote. Well, yeah, but where's the second one? It doesn't. It's like they're looking at me going, you took it, and I'm like,
yeah.
no, it doesn't come with one. Like I'm just, they're like, empty your pockets. Well, you should give me a second one just because I'm upset about it. And it's like, well, I don't really want to eat, 15, 25, $30, for, you know, and it's like, that's why I looked at it and I thought, when you buy them as a package, when you break it down, you're only spending like whatever, 15, $30, whatever. But when you buy them outright, shoot, you're paying 40, 50,
hmm
it's like, too bad. If we're going to squander over 15, like I didn't even care about marking it up. I'm just putting it on there. You know what I mean? That it's part of the deal. You're going to get two remotes and an outside keypad. That's just what we offer. Sorry. If you need it, if you don't, oh well. I'm not shaving off $20. Go find somebody else.
Yep. That's why I buy the 8365
Yeah.
267 or whatever. It has the
Yeah.
key two remotes.
Yeah, yeah. See, our vendor would only have them during like they buy like so many skids and then they'd like run out, and then
Oh,
we,
okay.
we couldn't get them. It's kind of like almost like a special. I can't remember if it was like beginning of the year type of thing. So it was always really like we at the time we just didn't have that kind of resource or money to spend to buy a big quantity of them. So then it was like, oh no, we'd only buy back in the day. I only buy like 5 openers, 3 to 5 openers per trip. And
Right.
so it was always like you were fumbling, like you're like, oh, we got this one for $325 installed, but it comes with one remote, and it just seemed like that light bulb type thing just pew, goes over the customer. And then when you know how it is, it's like it's such a different animal when you're out there. That's why I'm always like, I forget we had a saying one time, me and the wife were trying talking about like you're like the last person to deal with a customer. You know what I mean? So it's like all this stuff came down the line, and there's all these middle people that sell you. So that's why I'm always kind of like, man, if you can sell product, just sell product. I mean, you can just sell it, and even if you're only making $10, $50 here on a product, you can disperse so much more, and you can call. People are going to call the problems. Oh, sorry, bring that back. Yeah, bring it back on your own time and gas, and manufacturers screw up. But when you're trying to go out there, and you can only do so much. You can only do so many service calls per day. You got so many callbacks that are coming back, and then if you're dealing with inferior products that they're changing stuff, it just becomes very overwhelming. So it's kind of like, it gets to be a lot.
Mm. I People like around here, they like to, they want a good deal.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
Can you give me a better deal than that? Well, yeah, I sure can. It only comes with one remote.
Right,
I
right,
had any other remote.
right,
Done
right.
that how many times?
Oh yeah, you can easily. There's all kinds of different ways. You know, yeah, you're exactly right. If you really want to pinch pennies, for that, then you can. You know what I mean?
For me, that's too. I just take out. Hey, don't let them see that keypad when you pull it out.
Right, right, right. It's like the
Well,
like
it
the
came
gear,
in a box.
the, right, the gear kits. Yeah. Because says what? Kevin says light bulb themselves. Let's see here. Evan says if sending a keypad, a customer will sometimes ask if I can get set the code, and they can. Oh yeah, I get that a lot too. They can change it later. Oh
Say
yeah,
that all the time.
yeah. They normally don't, but
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
the
yeah,
throw. So you think they're going to change it?
right,
Makes them.
right. They
I
feel important.
say, you know what? You're going to tell me that, but I have programmed myself not to remember it.
Right,
I've
right.
had to tell them again. Hey, what was that number you wanted?
Yep.
I don't. I try not to remember it.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's good. I mean, and
I
I haven't done this in a long time, but if you ever have, like for like cousin Evan, if you ever have a customer too that you feel might be a little squirrely, something doesn't add up right. Maybe they couldn't be home to give you the check or whatever. Program a remote,
Yep.
and if they start neglecting you,
Uh-huh.
take a drive by in a vehicle that's not recognized or whatever, and
Yeah.
open that door during work hours a little bit towards the tail end. You know what I mean? You'll notice that they'll call you pretty soon saying, "Hey, that opener you installed, there's a problem," and you can go, "Yeah, there's a problem my end too. You didn't pay me, so how about when I come out, you pay me, and I'll get that fixed for you." You know, because I've done that where I've just had some situation. I go, something don't feel good with this, and I've had it where I've done it twice. Drive by, door just randomly has been open. Oh well, and sure
Yep.
enough, I've gotten a phone call. There's something wrong. Oh, it's funny you call me now when I've been trying to hunt you down and you haven't paid your bill.
I think I'm going to start doing that now when people don't pay. I think I'm
Yep.
going to, because then you can go around just fuck with them, go over there.
Oh, it's great, and they think that well, that guy, I'm gonna call him, and it's like, yeah, that's what I want. I've been trying to get a hold of you. I've been
That
sending you invoices. I've been trying to text you or call you, and you're not responding. But oh, when there's something wrong, son of a biscuit, boy, you have
that's
no problem calling me
really
and wasting my time or energy or money. When I'm sitting on,
love.
money that you haven't paid me, why inflation's going crazy and gas just doubles, so the money you're going to give me is damn near worthless. So,
Really,
so yeah, I've done that. I've labeled them before, and normally I got a nice selection up there, anyways. And then that way, when I get to a customer, they go, hey, you got an extra, like, I need a third remote, and I'm like, yeah, let me go to my visor. Oh yeah, this customer paid. They're good. Okay, you can have this one now.
that, that's brilliant. I
Yeah.
use that. I'm going to do that.
Oh
Be-
yeah, I've done that. Like I said, I just something that's not, they're not home and they're like, something just better just, and like I said, sometimes I just never even had to use it. They send a check, they call, hey, I got a check waiting for you. Awesome. It's one of those things. It feels like with time, like I said, I don't get it every time, but 9.5 out of 10. I just had a guy we did recently. He wasn't home, but everything felt right, and he was close. That was the big thing. He was close. He's only a 11-minute drive, so I knew if stuff was going to go rogue, but there's always a chance he could, because once it's attached to his house, it doesn't mean he has to pay me. We can go to small claims court and he can play that game, and it could take a year time we deal with an attorney and cost me more.
yeah.
So it's just, you got to use your best judgment. All right, let's get through some more of these. We said customers sometimes ask change code. Kevin, pretty common, Evan. We use last four-digit shop phone number. So when they forget before change, they can call an office and can tell them. Interesting. So leave keypad instructions, circle how, write down the code I put in. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I always like most of them still do it. I think right. They got the instructions on the keypad, which always
Mm,
helps.
yeah.
Rusty says they sell them at the store. Every other was it says light in the house has one of the supply them. He says I'm going to mark up the bulbs so it's better for them to supply them. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's just I don't know. Are you warranting the bulb for a year? Free bulb replacement? That's kind of a good. Never thought about that, but I don't
Nope.
think I've ever had a light bulb fail that I remember.
No, I don't warranty the bulb. Mm,
No, but I'm just thinking. I don't think I've ever had a light bulb fail within a year or anything like that, or anything funny that I can remember.
No one's ever called me back on a light.
No, not a brand new one.
No.
I've had plenty of when I've installed used light bulbs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I've done that too, and get there and it's like, oh shit, that's
Yep.
right. Ran out of bulbs on this one.
Hmm. Hmm.
Back in.
Or what I don't like too is you didn't run the other opener or something, and you didn't realize they had two different color light bulbs. So it's here's your brand new opener. It's like this one's the creamy, and here's it looks like a doctor's office, and it's like you know here's
Yep.
your new opener.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean I couldn't supply light bulbs, so I used your old ones,
Yeah.
and it's like that's why I'm always like to me it's like that's why I'm always like even the light bulbs always gets me fired up where I'm always like it's almost like a contract. Like I need to have a written contract so I can go to the customer and be like, right here, like sign, you just sign, like read this. The light bulbs that I use currently are used. They probably won't last more than 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. I'm not reliable or responsible. You know, I need you to sign this. So when I go back, then they're like, I thought you installed something good. And I'm like, I did. They're light bulbs. What do you not understand? Well, I didn't know that. I just saw it there. It's like maybe that's why LiftMasters, they're probably trying to get more money in a sense, but they're doing the LEDs, the built-in LEDs and stuff like that. I don't know what that's gonna. I still don't like that in my field. I feel like because I just, you know, now you're going to a Genie, now you're going to a LiftMaster, this model to this model, and it's like I'm not carrying all these different LEDs in my truck to get banged up or smashed, and then or to install it and be like, I'll get you fixed up. I got one right here in my truck. I want to make a hell of a lot of money. And you install it, and it's broke, and you're like, oh no. And you're like, well, I just lost 20 or 40 or whatever those things cost. And you're like, I still got to go get a new one because this one rattled around the truck for so long, got beat up, or it's got scratches or dents or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Rusty's got Kevin. Light fixtures don't come with bulbs. Guarantee if electrician hangs a light fixture. Ooh, I never thought about that. Kevin's got a good point there. He says, light fixtures don't come with light bulb guarantee. If electrician hangs a light fixture, he's putting bulbs in it. Anytime I've been to any commercial job, the lights are always nice and pretty in there. I've never seen fixtures and they're like, see you guys later. We're all done. And it's like, I mean, that's what we're all doing as contractors, as plumbers, and God, where the hell's the lights, man? Get the lights.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I never thought about that when they're hanging the ones from the ceiling on chains. I mean, hey, they're all ready to fire up. That's
Mm,
that's kind of a different way to think about it.
yep.
If it's in contract that you're supplying balls, they supply them. If it's not, you're just taking more out of your profit margin. Yeah, maybe. So you give them two light bulbs valued at 10 and keep the $45 remote. It could. Rusty says, so Kevin's guys, to me, Rusty, it's just the cherry on the top. You don't have a customer thinking if they couldn't put effort in putting bulbs in that other shortcuts were taken. I guess when Kevin's saying that too, so I'll be honest, I'm guilty of it. I don't do this, right? But it's always like I always wonder about the windows. I leave windows dirty all the time. You know what I mean? It's just like one thing I'm like, I ain't got Windex or paper towels and
Yep.
you know, I'm not cleaning the damn windows. And but the door, I will clean the door from my fingerprints.
Mm-hmm.
But like the windows, I'm like, that's from the manufacturer. I'm like, piss on you. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, that, you got to come out here, Mary Jane, you got to come out here and clean your windows, but that's just part of their dusty. You know what I mean? But it does make you like, almost makes me think where I go, you know what? Maybe I should clean the windows. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because I know like weather seal and stuff like that. I did one around the corner not too long ago, and I took a video of it and I said, oh, the weather seal's dirty. Well, I forgot to clean it afterwards. And I still feel bad about it. Like, I'm like, gosh, weather seal's all dirty, man. It's got fingerprints and it must have been rolling in the dirt. So I guess to me, it's kind of one of those things. Like, I guess I can see where Kevin's kind of saying, hey, man, that's a cherry. Hey, it lights up. I do like the idea that, hey, especially when you're dealing with like, people are disabled or whatever too, like they shouldn't have to get on a ladder. So, I mean, that's like, could you imagine, like, to me, first thing I think of it, I go, could you imagine putting a hot water tank in and saying, hey, you're all set, but you don't like the pilot?
Yeah.
So that's one way I think about it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't expect grandma or grandpa or whoever to light the pilot. You know
Sure.
what I mean? Hey, you're all set. You paid my servant. So it is kind of one way, but I mean, I kind of get, what do we get all the time, right? When we get something that says, batteries not included. And it's like, are you kidding me? So especially when you got kids, right?
Yeah.
Kids' toys or something, you're like, come on, I need those D batteries. We got no D batteries.
Always buying batteries.
Right, right.
And
Let's
you
see.
you had mentioned perimeter seal and cleaning perimeter seal. You know what's good to clean perimeter seal?
Tell me, because I got a lot of dirty perimeter seal.
WD-40
Really?
bomb.
Have you ever? How about like if it's got like it's like the
Black
nasty stuff from like it's been sitting for quite a few years, like
that,
it's I don't know.
but I do know, like as you wipe it, it gives it a shine back. It'll clean the grease off, clean your fingerprints off.
Really?
Yes, that's what I use with oil doors. So I just
So I'm glad you brought up the WD. So my uncle's vehicle looks pretty darn good, and he said before winter he always goes around, sprays all the doors and all the seams. He sprays them in the holes where the water drains through your doors and all that. And I must say, his vehicle don't have any rust on it. Looks pretty good for an older vehicle. It's an older Trailblazer. And anyways, I was having a problem with one of my with the rental, with how you put your, what do you call it, for your shower, like you put
oh
plug up and then it makes your shower go. It was
fun.
getting real sticky, so I thought, I don't know how to clean this, so I'd started spraying WD into it, right? And I was really impressed. I didn't realize WD would stick that good, but I was trying to get it like off the tub because I sprayed it everywhere. And
Hmm.
my goodness, man, I just kept washing and washing, and I was like, my gosh, you'd think of this thing just cling to this. So I thought, man, my uncle, I thought it was more dissolvable, but it clung to it. It was slippery in there for quite a while. It still was somewhat slippery, even when I was done. I got it better, but I was really impressed with WD, how much, you know, how it clinged to it, and it cleaned out the thing and lubricated it. Um, so I don't know. I was kind of impressed. I thought, well, maybe I'll be spraying some more doors like he does with some WD so rust doesn't accumulate.
Yeah.
But people, man, they don't like using that WD.
No, they
I
talk.
get, I feel like there's a lot of hate about that.
Oh, they big time. But
I just watched a guy the other day that does garage doors. He puts it in a little squirt bottle, right?
I go.
He,
That's what I
he
do.
he's using motor oil. He goes, doesn't matter which motor oil, whatever you like. He said, I
Yeah.
try to use something thinner. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, man, I could care less. Like with customers, that's the only thing they normally have on the shelf. So that's why I tell them, say, hey, once a year, go through this, because I'm like, something is better than nothing. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like, especially on springs, because most people, every time, how it is, you go there and their springs are rusted like a son of a gun, and the doors, kunk 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 kunk, and it's like, you're up there and they're, oh my gosh, that thing runs so much smooth. You need to spray the spring. A lot of people don't think about it, but you got to spray the springs, and then here's the bearings, spray in the bearings, spray all these. And at least with WD, it doesn't have a big buildup where, like, how it is when you go to the grandpa's or whatever, and they got the whole track is just sludged full of grease. And you're
Oh yeah.
like, oh my gosh, and he's like, oh yeah, grease that thing every month, and you're like,
Uh,
stop it.
yep. Well,
Uh,
WD. I tell like the older people. I say you don't need to pull out a ladder. Flip that red nozzle up. Spray that spring line. All the overspray. It don't leave a mark. it evaporates.
Right.
It,
Right.
it will not ruin your painted wall in a
Ah,
$350,000, $500,000 home house. Their painted garage.
yeah. That
That
makes sense.
use it. When I worked in Texas, we had to go back and paint a garage because somebody put oil in with the WD and it left a mark.
Dang. Not good.
Costly. So I learned from that one. Yeah, I'll use WD. I just tell everybody twice a year, spring and fall.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you
Long,
can do it. You can do it with WD. It doesn't hurt so much. Like when you buy that Service Spring stuff I bought, that multi-purpose. The
mm-hmm.
problem is I didn't. I started using it at my house. Now, I'm a garage door guy. I was spray it every 6 months. Really good preventative maintenance. Well, my gosh, as a vinyl bag, boy, it started looking really grungy. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do this every 6 months. I started doing it about every other year because it looked so caked, with the yellow stains on it. And I thought, God, this door looks horrible now. You know.
You know
Uh,
that off.
let's go through some of these. Kevin must deal with customers who have light bulbs in the house or they take one from their lamp. Yeah, that's something too. Not supplying a bulb has never been an issue for me in 20 years. You're lucky then. Evans got, I was annoyed with Chamberlain sold a universal keypad to go with Dip Switch. Stanley had to go with Chamberlain.com because the Dip Switches instructions weren't in the physical. Oh, yeah, they're getting, I guess that's one of the things LiftMaster's starting to implement. They're not giving you a instruction manual anymore. That's the way they're cutting down. It's going to be, they give you that little QR code you scan with your phone, then you can get
Mm.
your instructions.
Hey, Evan, can you get the clicker up there?
Ooh, ooh.
The clicker, that's a universal.
Well, I thought, he had something. Either he was sending it to us or me or something, but they didn't have the dip switches in it anymore. And I guess that somebody was mentioning that's been like that for quite a while now. That they don't have the dip switches in the universal. What is it called? The 395 or whatever it is. I don't know if there's one over there or not. Oh, I don't see one.
Oh, the red with the red.
Yeah.
They don't have the line of really.
No, I guess somebody mentioned they were like they got rid of those quite a while ago, and I'm like, I didn't know that.
I think you're right. Let me think
I was
about.
like, dang. What's Evan got? Yeah, but garage door openers can perform their function without bulbs. Rusty's got, if you think the cherry is light bulb, but then leave the house and don't set their phones, cars, or caulk doors. Yeah, I mean, I guess how far do you go?
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't think. I
own.
think.
That's privacy. Uh,
Yeah, and the thing is like I still would probably be on the bandwagon for like I
They,
don't really care about the light bulbs, but the
they,
problem for me was the interference. You know what I mean?
yeah, they don't want me to caulk their door.
I've never caulked a garage door seal.
Me neither. Never.
To me that was always kind of like the painters to
That's I pass that on to the painter.
right. That's kind of like you can caulk it if you want, but I've never had anybody. I can't remember anybody calling me out either.
No, no.
Um, Now I've had where I didn't put enough nails, or I put the
Yeah.
weather seal up too tight, and the weather seal would buckle.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Had that because weather got warm, and there she goes. And I knew I put it on there snug, and
I
then I
do.
didn't put enough trim nails in it. But yeah. Let's see. Here's one for thought. Should plumbers supply the toilet paper for? Ooh, Rich B had to come in there with the old sucker punch.
Well,
He
yeah.
says he says his plumber should
One,
supply
oh,
the toilet
right.
paper for the toilet that he just installed. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
I think so because you don't want to use your hand.
You're supposed to use, what was that one movie? You're supposed to use a seashell or something. That was some movie back in the day. It says, hi, this is Rich. Exactly. And so, like I said, with that being said, for me, like I said, I probably wouldn't even really still care about the light bulbs anymore. It was just the problem is running into the interference or taking their old light bulbs and trying to be generous, and they would, hey, this thing's not working. What do you mean it's not working? Oh, you sold me something junk. And I'm like, it's not lighting up. Oh, it's still working. It's just, so
Yeah.
for me it was a couple bucks. It just wasn't worth the headache anymore. It's kind of like, do you do one strut or two struts on a 16x7? To me, it's just, I'd rather do two struts. It's all a preference. I guess it's like a GDO bracket. Do you want to use the little bracket or do you want to put a big solid bracket? I prefer the big solid bracket because I live up in northern climates and our doors freeze a lot to the doors. And I hate going to seeing something that's caved in or it pulls the bracket off. And now I'm like, great, and you know how when the metal gets all indented out, it's like really hard to smash it back or get it to be perfect again. So I just rather put a big old bracket on there and just not have to worry about it. So I guess it's just a preference.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
But these are fun. Like I like the toilet paper one. That's a good one. I like that.
Well, here's how I do it. If I supply the opener, I supply the light bulb. If I go install their opener, they can deal with it.
It's a good point.
I do it. Same thing with the trash. If I supply the opener, I take my trash. If they supply the opener, I leave it.
Yeah, I don't see nothing wrong with that. I mean, that makes sense to me.
That's the way I do it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's a good. The only thing I've been trying to, I just did one that I didn't swing it in there, but the idea when Josh told me, he talked about, I'm not taking that door. I charge. And I'm like, well, if it's a metal door, and then he's like, yeah, he's like, it's like, and the way he just explained it to me just seems so genuine. Where he's like, yeah, he's like, that's been attached to their house for like 20 years. He's like, I'm not a garbage remover. Like, I don't haul people's trash. I don't know if they want to reuse it or sell it or put it, give it to their neighbor. And I'm like, that's kind of a good point. So he's like, yeah, I charge them an extra, whatever. It was 20, $40.
That's an
And I'm thinking, I was like, that's smart.
H&R remove and haul 50
Ooh,
charge.
I like that.
Yep. So
Uh,
like, what's H&R remove and haul? Yeah, okay. You only charge $50. Okay.
well, it's just a nice way to make a little bit extra.
Yeah.
But the older I'm getting into this, the more I go, you know, like when we hauled the other one that I didn't charge, it was my fault. But I just thought, man, I was like, I had to take it, I had to break all the hinges off it basically to, get it to break down and sit down the way I wanted to. I got to strap this thing. I'm like, then later in the evening, it's like I come to the shop, I gotta unload it. It's just like, you know, if I didn't have this door, I probably wouldn't need to go to the shop to, for one. It's just it's time. That's the big thing. It's time. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So it's like,
Yep.
and especially it's easy when it's a wood door because those you've been burned so many times. You're like, oh, either I got to burn that in the field, I got to take that to the landfill, I got to cut that thing up. Oh no, I don't want that old wood door.
Mm.
But the metal ones can be like you sit there and think it's like a brownie. You go, oh man, I can make $5 or $10 or maybe $20 on scrap. So they're doing me a favor. Well, are they? I mean, why not? If anything, still make $40 plus another $20 a scrap yard or whatever. And
Hmm.
you know what I mean. Otherwise, hey, they can chop this thing up or put it out by the road or deal with all the buckets and nuts and bolts and crap and spilling over and whatever. But
Mm.
more than likely, because what is it? Isn't it like, I guess some appliance places they'll take your appliance for free. Furniture they'll do that sometimes. Maybe they'll charge a little bit for like a mattress or something. But I'm just trying to think of other services. Um, Probably like hot water tanks, same thing. They probably take them.
TVs they charge.
Yeah. Let's say Rich's Japanese toilet. They don't need to. Yeah, they got the what do they call it? The sprayer. Rusty only install LED. There you go. LED openers. You don't need light bulbs.
Oh,
It says in the near future. I'm passing. Rusty's got. He says I'm passing the bulb on. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. What do you think, PT? It probably kept you up long enough.
heck yeah! I got a big day tomorrow.
Heck yeah, man. You gotta, you
Go
gotta, you
training.
gotta. Yeah, that's painful.
I know.
I've been through there. It's painful.
Just go. We're doing a demo. Uh,
Oh,
we're going and taking out some. Well, I don't even have to take the doors out. All I got to do is go and unwind the springs.
ooh,
No,
easy.
but I got to go through that damn meeting. Wear a hard hat. Wear the safety vest. All that BS.
Oh yeah, that's where I'm always telling myself and the guys, I'm always like, this is a job that we got to be like union, and we got to slow down, and we got to pretend we're going out and having a cigarette, and we got the
Well,
lunch pails, and this
hopefully,
is.
drive a scissor lift and not somebody else.
Oh, I hate when that happens when you got to have somebody else drive it.
Oh, it's like, do you realize you're in like danger right now? And they're like, well, I have to be up here.
Right, right.
Hey, dude.
I know, I get it. Evan's got one more thing here. So I think our electric corporation will take our old fridge and freezer as part of recycling incentive. Yeah, I think we got something like that too. If you buy a new one, they'll give you like $20 or something, or $40. My uncle plays around with that quite a bit because he's always wanting to change different address. Hey, can I drop a fridge off? They'll send me a check or something, or whatever they do, some goofy thing. So he's always, I think he gets some good deals on some once in a while too, at like Menards. They're always getting rid of some clearance ones or something. So he buys them, but of course, you know how it is. You don't really need them, so then it's always where's he going to store them? And they either whatever sit outside on our tarp or go in
Yeah.
somebody's garage until one's ever needed.
And Evan, to answer your question, if I have to take a generator to use my Surewinder, like the big one, because the big one I have to use a power cord, my drill's on a power cord, I will take a generator. I'm not going to winding bars. That's no, that hurts. Surewinder. Once you use a Surewinder, you'll never go back.
Yeah, you're gonna have to you're gonna have to keep your eyes out. I know you sent me that one, and I was kind of harassing you, but if you do, I searched my area again and I couldn't find one because we ended up I had Mr. Caleb's been itching to try the spring turner,
Oh
and
yeah,
watching the mechanism, I'm just sitting there and I'm just like, like it was just so hard to watch. And I actually did something too where the sprocket came off and it went to fall, and I'm trying to catch it in the air and he's trying to grab it, and I'm just like, I told him, I said, I know, I said, I give these guys crap, but I said, honestly, I think the Surewinder would be a lot easier and smoother
it,
than this thing right now.
it is. The only thing you got to worry about is two pieces.
Yeah.
Two pieces. That's it.
Well, this one I'm dealing with. I think I deal with four pieces before I put on the mechanism because I got my gear is separated. Where at least with a Surewinder, at least you got one stub
Yeah.
working for
Yep.
you,
You
so you
put
can pop that in, and then you can do your thing.
flip it.
Where we're trying to put a two piece together, for the gear. Then you got your pins that go into the spring. Then well, the problem we have is when you're trying to slide it, if it separates that gear wants, you don't have enough hands.
Right. Right.
So, and then I had the wise idea. I said, "There's got to be a better way to do that." I said, "Let me take some electrical tape." And I said, "Well, that ain't gonna work because that's where the bearings roll, and I don't want electrical tape getting gummed up in the bearings and making it nasty." So I said, "Well, that's temporary. It works for the moment, but I said we can't leave it on there." And so then when he was taking it back apart, I was kind of watching it, and it was really making me cringe. I was like, "Don't drop the gear, please."
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of like under him, like
Yeah.
I'm ready to catch. And so
Oh yeah.
I was like, what's your opinion? He's like, I could see on bigger doors, but he's like, because he's still young. He's like, on these doors, and I'm thinking, I wish I had a Surewinder to try for you. Like, here you go. Like, do you like this better? Is this more simple? And so he
You
just
come,
said, yeah, bigger doors, I could see it, but this, I just use winding bars.
you come down and I'll let you use my Surewinder. You'll be like, oh,
If I use your Surewinder, you're not getting it back.
well, you could always buy another one.
Right, right. So I just wanted to at least let you know that I wasn't trying to discourage you. That hey, if you do come across one again, that's somewhere in the neck of the woods, let me know because I'll probably
Yeah,
probably bite the bullet.
I look every now and again.
Yeah, I looked a couple days ago. Just I thought, Tony sent me that one. I'm gonna look in my area because maybe there's one a little north or something. But I just don't ever see them up here.
Yeah.
And I don't. What do they? Do you know what they run brand new? Are they like are they 8, 1200 or something like that? I think.
Yeah, you're probably right around 8 something. 8
Yeah. So
for the Sure Winder.
yeah,
The Fruit Winder, now that's anywhere from 14, 1600, somewhere like that.
yeah, and that's kind of what I ended up paying for mine. But mine's more the commercial.
Yeah.
So but I just like to. I'm assuming it's the same concept, just a smaller frame. I'm assuming, but I just keep going. Yeah, I'm kind of like we do some of these residential. I'm like, I'd like to use a winder, and I'm just like, this one's just too clumsy. Like I don't know about this.
Yes, Evan, to answer your question, yes, that it helps when the strut's in the way.
Oh, for it to rest on.
You know how when you're doing a winding bar, sometimes you can't get, because of that strut, you can't get that
Oh,
next winding bar because of the ceiling.
yeah.
You don't have to worry about it with the Sure Winder. You put that on, bam.
Yeah, I felt bad because in one of the videos, the customer came out and I was talking, and Caleb, Cora just kept videoing, and Cora, he's well, I'm going to use the skinny end, and and when I'm watching the video, I'm going, no, I'm like that doesn't help. I'm like you're working counterintuitive, so either push on something, and then I think Rich B or somebody was like they should have used the Papa Tony the broom trick, and I was thinking. Yeah, I should have done something, but I was talking to the customer. Caleb, he knows what he's doing, so I just was like, whatever, just go for it, dude. And then after watching the video, I'm like, oh, I'm like, no. But a Surewinder, it'd probably be safer and it'd be nicer, like what you're saying with the strut.
Oh yeah, it is. It's a sweet piece of equipment.
Heck
Oh,
yeah.
it's the best.
Smoking serious with me says, what else do we got here? I'll use Brute Winder, Fun Bar, clearance issues, don't have Surewinder. Still enjoy the quickness work out of the winding bars. Do help with the struts. Yes. Running needs a new drill too. Oh. Tony, did you ever make something for the shoreline to slide on? They recommend making something in Brute Winder's directions. Huh. Do you know what that is, Tony?
What? Let me see.
Says it's from Rusty. Says Tony, did you ever make something for Surewinder to slide on? Huh. They recommend making something in Brute Winder directions. Slide on. What's a slide on?
Here, trying to think.
Huh. Did you ever make something for Surewinder to slide on? Hmm. I can't think of anything the Brute Winder needs for improvements or to slide on.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was getting at there.
Had that issues the other day replacing cables on Steelcraft door where both cables went bad, or one went bad, one was missing.
Oh, to rest when you're the winder.
Oh, it stretches.
When
Rest of when you wind in the spring stretches. Oh,
no,
oh,
I
I
haven't.
see. I see. Don't you? Do you just normally kind of give it some wiggles? Don't you just kind of pull it up on it when it's doing its thing? That's.
As in what now? To
I mean, like you can kind of see the machine's it's starting to kink a little bit if something's growing the spring. So I normally just kind of pick it up a little bit, or
all what I do, like if there's a strut on the door, I
yeah,
just run and let it slide across the strut.
right,
If there's no strut or there's windows, I'll pull it away
yeah,
off and then let it go. Like if the customer's there,
right,
off. Otherwise, usually I'm lazy and just let it go across the strut.
right, right.
Um,
Both cables went bad. Let me see what Evans got. Moved to strap out of the way. Put it back in the bracket after. So that's probably that brace he talks about in the Steelcraft. So instead of a strut, but you gotta do the Papa Tony way where you put a wine or a broom in there. That works too. That's a good idea. That
uh,
or a chunk of wood, even probably a chunk of wood if you got a header back there to hit or whatever.
well, what's nice about a broom, you can use your hip. To,
Yeah,
that's what you use to pull it out with, and
yeah. And I'm sure there's many different ways. You could probably use a ratchet strap, tie around the pipe, find something behind you, block of wood, 2x4,
do
whatever.
or any kind of anything with
Yeah,
length
because
on it.
you only need normally it's like that half an inch. You need just
Yep.
a little.
A little bit.
Just a little extra.
Yep. True.
All right, Mr. PT, you better get out of here.
All right, guys. I think I'm going to head out. I'll let you say something, Dave. No.
All right, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. This was actually a lot of fun. I enjoyed all the comments. This was a good little debate back and forth, clean debate. So that was awesome.
Yeah.
And remember, uh, stay tuned. There's more stuff to come. And otherwise, keep your fingers. Be safe out there for sure. And I hope you guys have a wonderful Monday.
Yeah. Thanks, Uncle Dave. And don't forget, Uncle Dave's on TikTok now.
Yeah, I've been playing around. I know what I'm doing. I'm lost. So
Go push all your stuff over to TikTok.
Papa Tony's been guiding me a little bit. He's like bumping me here, doing
I don't.
this, trying to message me. I'm like, where do I go?
I just go with what my kids tell me.
Right, right.
Well, hey guys, thanks for showing up, sticking in with us, and all the questions. We appreciate all that. And just
Absolutely.
appreciate you guys listening to us jabber.
I learned some stuff tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully everybody's learning stuff. That's what it's all about. The
Yeah,
community,
for sure.
you know.
Got to go buy me some 3M tonight. Got to get on the internet.
Got to be better people, better garage door guys.
That's
All right,
right.
Papa Tony out. You
See you
guys.
guys.
See you, Dave.
See ya.